we swear you guys in first? Are you guys in first or after you make your announcement? Okay. Okay. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he can listen. Okay. Then I do. Okay, that's fine. No matter how I do it, no, I'm gonna get us started when you're ready here. Okay. I'm gonna try to remember how to do this. Well, but just bear with me. So if I forget something. Well, I will do that for sure, once I get it taken care of. Good morning. The Board of Zoning Adjustment for today's hearings are now in session. Before we begin to take testimony, I will turn to Ms. Copeland and have her explain the rules of our procedures today.
Thank you. I know I have to open up my document. So I'll describe the procedures for today's hybrid meeting. First, for everyone joining us online, please know that there are two categories of people participating in the meeting, attendees and panelists. Right now, the only panelists are board members and city staff. If you are an applicant or a member of the public who is interested in a case, please use the raise hand function when the case is announced to let staff know you would like to speak. There is a ribbon at the bottom of your Zoom screen with a hand icon. Please click this to raise your hand to request a promotion to panelist. You will need to accept the promotion in order to speak. It may appear temporarily as if you have been disconnected, but don't panic. You will reconnect shortly. If you are joining us via the Zoom app on a smartphone or computer, please change your screen name to reflect your legal name. If you are calling in from a phone number, you cannot adjust your screen name. It appears as your phone number. You can still provide testimony by raising your hand when the case is called by pressing star followed by the number 9. At the time of promotion, you must turn on your camera and microphone to be sworn in. Your microphone needs to always be on mute unless you are giving testimony at the appropriate time. The chat box is only for questions about the agenda. The merits of each case are not to be discussed in the chat box. For everyone joining us today in person, please approach the microphone on the podium located to the left of the seating area when it is appropriate to give testimony. Applicants may be seated at the center desk when the case is announced. Everyone planning to testify must sign in on the sign-in sheet that's in the vestibule. If you are in person, there is no need for you to be on the Zoom meeting as well. Joining the meeting in both manners causes a lot of unnecessary feedback and audio disruptions. All public testimony, in person or virtual, is subject to the following rules. The BZA secretary or their designated representative will identify you when it is time for you to speak. You must be sworn in under oath to provide testimony. Please provide your full name and address when you are sworn in. Everyone, board members, city staff, and members of the public, needs to speak closely and clearly into the microphone. The BZA has set time limits for all testimony during its meeting. These time limits are 15 minutes for staff presentations, 20 minutes for presentations by applicants, 2 minutes for testimony by individuals, and 5 minutes for testimony by persons representing an organization, such as a neighborhood association, HOA, CID, or business association. You will hear an alarm when your allotted time is over. Please be respectful and wrap up your statement once you hear the alarm. We ask that there be no repetitive or irrelevant testimony. If you wish to admit exhibits, you need to have your exhibits ready on a jump drive or ready to share on your screen, and email the exhibits if they are admitted to the assigned planner. The Board of Zoning Adjustment may take breaks during the day. These breaks are typically taken around 10:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. And those are all of our procedures for today.
Thank you. Let's begin by swearing in all staff that will be testifying on any cases today. If you would go to the podium. Would you all, sorry, they're all trying to line up. Would you all raise your right hands to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sarah Copeland, I do.
James Duddy, I do.
Genevieve Conn-Smith, I do.
Connor Tomlin, I do.
Liz Collins, I do.
Stephanie Saldari, I do.
Anna Naniski, I do.
Alec Gustafson, I do.
Thank you. Ms. Copeland, do we have any continuances today that we
We
need?
have no continuances on today's docket.
But I understand we want to bring two cases forward first. Is our interpreter here? Yes, okay.
Okay.
So I think we want to call 7
We
and
would-
10 first. Is
Yeah,
that your
we'll
request?
start with case number 7, please.
Okay.
That is docket item number 7 is case CD BZA 2025-196, a request to approve a special exception to permit a fence greater than permitted on the subject site, plus any additional variances on about 0.11 acres generally located at 2333 Quincy Avenue. Connor Tomlin is the staff planner for this case. You can come on up.
I
to
would
the-
ask the applicant and the interpreter to come forward on this case and any other interested parties.
If anyone is interested in speaking on this case, please raise your hand online or approach the microphone on the podium. You all can be seated. There are no hands raised online.
Sí, pienso yo.
Docket number 7. Oh, I pulled the wrong one. Bear with me, sorry.
Ya. Pero tiene que hablar ahí, creo.
All right, good morning. Sir, would you please state your name?
Puede decir su nombre.
Tereso Bueso.
And can you tell us your address?
Su dirección.
Es 2333 Quincy.
33, ¿cuánto?
Quincy. Quincy.
2333 Quincy.
And sir, would you raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Puede levantar su mano para jurar.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And do I need to swear in the interpreter as well?
Yes.
Sir, Mr. Interpreter, would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Marcelo Lacour.
And would you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. There is a staff report that's been created for the applicant's application. Has he had a chance to review that?
¿Me o him?
Him.
¿Usted revisó la aplicación que le hicieron?
Realmente no la revisé. Yo mandé una aplicación, pero no la revisé. Muy bien, muy bien.
I sent an application, but I didn't review it.
Okay. Well, there's a report that's been created by city staff
El
as it
reporte
relates to
que
his
se creó
application.
De la gente de la ciudad, ¿no?
And as a part of that report, there are some items that are attached. There are 10 items.
Hay como 10 incluidas, ¿no? En ese reporte.
Those items are the zoning and development code,
Son códigos de la zona y del desarrollo, ¿no?
the rules of the BZA,
Las reglas, ¿no? Que tienen ellos.
qualification number members,
Acción de los miembros.
the notice for this case today that was published to the public,
Gente.
and associated documents proving that that was sent out,
Es un documento probando que
the staff report talking about his application,
y hay un reporte, ¿no? Hablando de esa aplicación,
the applicant's submittal,
el papel que usted mandó, la sumisión.
the PowerPoint presentation staff will provide,
Las imágenes.
and the city ordinance that also affects this hearing today.
Reglas, ¿no? De la ciudad, ordenanza, ¿no? Que afectan lo que estamos haciendo hoy aquí.
I would want to admit those so the board can hear all of that evidence today. Does the applicant have any objection to those 10 items being admitted?
¿Tiene alguna objeción usted a esas quejas que ellos tienen? Like, for example,
All of those 10 items that I just described.
10 cosas que ellos describieron. ¿Tiene alguna objeción a eso?
Realmente no vi no leí bien el reporte.
I didn't read the report.
Okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. I guess we could try to get him a copy of the report. Do we have that available? We can't hear the case if I don't have these admitted. It's the evidence we need to hear his case.
No sé si están buscando. So somebody's gonna give him a copy.
Well, do we have a copy for him?
We can make a copy, yes.
Okay,
Están buscando una copia del reporte porque no lo pueden escuchar si usted no leyó eso. Creo que es esto que tengo acá.
or can we show him an iPad with it on it? How about that? That might be faster. Sorry, I'm gonna make sure he understands.
Yeah. In the meantime, this is the court reporter speaking. Could I
Yes.
have the interpreter spell his name for the record?
Can you spell your name for the record, sir? You, yes.
What is it? My name?
Yes, he wants, the court reporter needs the spelling of your first and last name.
Marcelo Lacour, Marcelo. And my last name is Lacour.
And you might
Thank you
do
very
him a
much.
favor is pull that microphone a little closer when you're talking. That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you. He heard you. Thank you, sir. Just give us a minute.
The agency that I work for, they sent me some paperwork. Is that the report?
It's maybe Connor. Connor, can you look at what's on his phone? Maybe that's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I am something like that. When I was sitting with him, he was telling me it's about the fence, but what I read in the report is something different. So
You're going to be here on another case,
This
though.
is for case 139.
Oh, not this one.
oh, because I thought he was telling me it's about a fence and here
Okay.
it says about.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
completely
Just a second. She's getting an iPad that'll have this
so who
report
we
on
have
it.
up here now is docket item 10, if that's the staff report that they're viewing.
But he's not 10, right? He's
Well, the staff report that they have pulled up is item 10.
right, but I don't, but I think he
The-
is here on the fence case, which is
Yeah, but
number
He's
7.
here for Quincy Avenue.
Yes,
Okay, so,
You- go ahead.
the staff report that he has pulled up is the wrong one, but if,
Right.
Meredith is getting the right one
Yes,
up.
yeah,
okay.
she is. So I just wanted to make sure if he had it, we'd move along faster, but that's
Okay.
okay. We'll wait a minute.
Le entiendo, te la quedé alta porque. Pero... Te pido una excepción. Piensa que lo van a robar conmigo.
Para que pues de ahí, pero
Docket item 7,
Seven.
so-
Pero son reportes.
Oh,
Mine says docket number 6 when you open it up at the top, but it's 7. See the report? See, this is weird.
Six
Mine.
is from January 14th.
Oh, so I have the wrong report.
So this was continued, so
Number 7 is within the attachments.
Oh, okay.
you might need to scroll down.
Yeah, I did. I just pulled the wrong one. There were 2 copies.
February 11th.
I can't figure out where the downloaded copy goes to.
Oh,
Oh, there it is.
see, I was just seeing it and going, oh, I got it. Yeah.
Those are.
You got it?
Yeah,
those
I
are
remember
kind of
that.
which-
Yeah.
Very difícil.
They're attachments. Okay, got it. It does. I'm good. Thanks. Found it.
Algo este.
The list of documents that I was reading to you is found on page, I think 4 of that report or so. Let me see if I can find it back. Page 4. At the bottom of the page, it says page 4 of 4, and there are 10 administrative exhibits. That's what I want to admit so that we can hear his case.
Estos son los muestras que ellos tienen, ¿no? Son, ¿no? El desarrollo de su casa. Cuando uno porte, ¿no? De la. Se hizo una presentación de. Y el chapter 97. So you want to know if he acknowledged this?
Yes, I want to admit those into evidence so the board can read those.
Yes.
Okay, exhibits 1 through 10 will be admitted. I believe that Mr. Tomlin has a presentation about your application. We're going to hear from him and then we'll have questions. Connor?
Would you like me to take pauses while I do my presentation so you can translate, or would you like me to do the whole thing?
Up to you.
Okay. Okay, today we have docket item 7, CD BZA 2025-196 at 2333 Quincy Avenue, is an R-2.5 zoning district, and the request is to grant a special exception in the amount of 2 feet to permit a fence greater than 4 feet in the front yard of the subject site. So this is the general location of the site. And then this is a closer look at the site outlined in yellow. And then this is the image that was submitted with the application showing the fence. And for an additional visual representation, that red line shows where that fence is located on the property. And then this is just an alternate view from Google Street View. The request today, again, is a special exception in the amount of 2 feet to permit a fence at a height of 6 feet in the front yard of the subject site. That is a 50% change from the requirement. A substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is anticipated as Doodle Street View appears to show that much of the neighborhood has fences of a compliant height, though the properties to the immediate south have a similar fence exceeding 4 feet in the same material. And the difficulty could be obviated by constructing a fence at a permitted height. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions.
Board have any questions for Mr. Tomlin?
Tom, can you please pull the microphone down?
Can you show that picture again of the?
Of the fence, this one? Okay.
Connor, do you have a photograph of the property to the south that has a similar fence?
Yes, it's a bit difficult to see, but you see all of this right here on the right side of the screen.
Can you share online?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
So they're gonna keep it wrought iron?
Yeah, so how it exists currently is what they're proposing that they be allowed to keep. And I believe this may be in the staff report. If not, I apologize. However, you can see that fence on the right-hand side. That is different property. It
Is
would
that a
be,
business property?
yes, it is. It's in a B3-2 zoning district.
Okay,
Is that fence height compliant for that?
Yeah, so in B3-2, that fence would be okay.
all right, sir, let's hear from you. Why do you believe this board should allow you to have a fence that's taller than that's allowed?
Muy peligroso.
It's a dangerous place.
Pues,
and some people trespass into my yard. And that's what I like to have it higher to prevent that from happening again.
Can you explain and give us some specific examples of why it's dangerous?
Because there's a lot of people walking around loitering at night.
Have you ever had your house broken into before you put up the fence?
Sí, antes y cuando nomás me pasé a vivir ahí, sí.
Entraron a su casa
No, a la yarda.
Yes, before I built, people came into my yard, not into my house.
So the house has not been broken into by someone, a trespasser.
No, solo me quebraron una ventana del lado izquierdo.
No, they only broke a window on the left side of the house.
I notice on the overhead photograph of your house that there's a home that's behind your house, and it looks like there's a lot of trash in that person's backyard. Do they cause you problems?
Hay un montón de vasos. Esa atrás no es suya. ¿Eso le causa problemas a usted?
Realmente no.
No le causa problemas
No,
que haya basura.
pero por la basura no. Eso no.
No, it doesn't cause any problem.
Does someone live in that house?
¿Alguien vive en esa casa de atrás? Hay mucha basura, ¿no? Ellos quieren saber, sí.
Realmente sí, sí vive.
Yes, people live there.
What kind of business is operated in the structure that's next to your home?
¿Qué negocio, qué comercio hay
¿Cómo?
¿Hay algún negocio, algún business?
¿Al lado?
Sí.
Pues al lado de mi casa de...
Right on the side of my property?
Correct.
Sí.
Al lado de derecho o izquierdo. De mi casa.
Usted vive, yo no sé. ¿No hay ningún negocio ahí?
No,
¿Nada?
No.
On the right side, on the left side of my property?
You're looking
On
at the
this-
photograph.
Se mira.
See the
This
the
down
building that has the white roof?
Ese
What
edificio.
is that?
¿Qué es eso?
No sé, es un edificio.
No sabe
He
lo que es.
visto que hay, la verdad.
¿Ha visto qué? ¿Nadie o no sabe lo que
Sí,
es?
hay personas, pero es como un laboratorio, maybe.
It may be a laboratory. It's like an industrial size, but I'm not sure what it is. Like a laboratory or industrial size?
All right. All right. Board members, you have questions for the applicant? Yeah, well, that's a different issue. All right. Hearing no questions, I would entertain a motion on this case.
I'll entertain a motion on docket item number 7, case number 196. I move that we, deny the request for the special exemption for the permit for the fence greater than 6.
I have a motion from Ms. Wright. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
You have to go one by one.
Yep, I'm sorry. All in favor, call the roll, sorry. This is
Gorin,
how we used to do it.
Mixdorf,
Opposed.
Otto,
Opposed.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
That motion fails for lack of 4 votes.
Special exception
Special
3.
exception.
Oh, that's 3. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, that's right. Did we have 3 yeses then? Yeah, okay.
You
So,
had 3 votes to deny.
right. So sir, the board has voted and they have voted to disallow you to have the extra height. So you'll have to speak with staff about how you need to shorten the fence in the front yard.
¿Qué es lo que tiene que hacer para?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May we call docket item number 10 next?
Yes,
Docket item number 10.
Docket item number 10 is case CD BZA 2025-139, a request to approve a variance to setback requirements for an addition completed without permits plus any additional variances on about 0.13 acres generally located at 401 Lawn Avenue. Connor Tomlin is the staff planner for this case as well. If you are come on up. If you are a member of the public who would like to speak on this case, please raise your hand online or approach the microphone on the podium to be sworn in.
So if we,
There, is that north or south lawn? Does it say anything anywhere?
No, it's just lawn, 401 lawn.
And I assume we have the quorum updated. Or everyone's watched the case.
We'll get to that in just a second. Let them move away.
okay, I'll get in touch with him. I have his email.
Okay, I have to stay with it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay, okay. Sorry, sorry.
No, that's okay. I know you have two. I just want to make sure that everybody has what they need. All right.
Okay.
So let's,
The first thing we need to do is reestablish the quorum. We have Hayes, Mixdorf, and Wright from the previous case, and so we need to add, Ms. Otto, have you reviewed the previous materials?
yes.
And then, sorry, Mr. Gorens, have you, okay, so we'll add Ms. Otto and Mr. Gorens to the quorum.
All right. We've reestablished our quorum. Let's begin. Ma'am, would you state your name for the record?
My name is Ana Maria Cuellar. My address is 401 Lawn Avenue, KCMO 64124.
Thank you, ma'am. Could you raise your, and Mr. Court Reporter, would you state your name again for the record?
My name is Marcelo Lacour.
And would you both raise your right hands to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, let's begin. Again, in this case, there was a staff report that was created for the applicant's request today. At the end of that report, there's a listing of items that are numbered 1 through 9 that are connected with your case. Do you have any objection to my admitting those for the board to consider this morning?
No.
No objection. Okay, exhibits 1 through 9 will be admitted. I believe Mr. Tomlin has a presentation. We'll hear from him, and then we'll hear from you, okay?
Okay, I have docket item 10, CD BZA 2025-139 at 401 Lawn Avenue. This is an R-2.5 zoning district. There is a request for multiple variances to the infill, lot, and building standards, plus any additional variances. So just to give some background, since this was heard a couple months back, this variance case was continued on December 10th to this date to allow staff time to reach out to the contractor that has done work on the site and discuss options to reduce the amount of variance that was needed. Staff did reach out to the contractor, I believe it was the applicant Roger Avalos, and we did not receive a response, so much of this presentation is the same as it was last time, as I did not get that response.
Let it give him a minute.
No.
Okay,
Okay, so this is the general location of the subject site and the site outlined in yellow. And then this is the site plan. I've zoomed in to make it a bit easier to view. And then this is a collage image showing how the property has expanded impervious surface over the years. So in the front yard, you'll see it was originally grass and it's now hardscaped with rock. And in the back has been largely paved for um, most of the time, though I do believe it was expanded slightly since 2016. So the variance request A is a variance of 1356.533 square feet to the maximum impervious surface coverage on an infill lot to permit 100% impervious surface coverage. This is a 25% change from the requirement, which is 75% impervious is usually permitted on these infill lots.
Lo que pasa es que le están pidiendo que la
Pero lo que le está diciendo es que
A substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is anticipated as residential properties within this area generally throughout Kansas City do not see 100% impervious surface coverage on these properties. And the difficulty could be obviated by completing work according to Chapter 88 requirements.
están pidiendo que usted tenga menos la de cemento.
Variance request B is a variance of 80% to the maximum impervious surface coverage within the street side yard to permit 100% impervious surface coverage within that street side yard on the subject site. This is a 80% deviation. Generally, 20% impervious surface is permitted in the street side. Again, a substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is anticipated for the same reasons previously stated. And the difficulty could have been obviated by completing work according to Chapter 88 requirements.
Evitado, ¿no? Si usted hubiese cumplido código de la ciudad.
And variance request C is a variance of complete deviation to the vehicular use standards in residential districts to permit areas used for vehicular purposes to not be landscaped. So to clarify, areas not used for vehicular purposes are required to be landscaped in some way, grass, bushes. This is to essentially allow it to be impervious as well. This is a complete deviation or a 100% change. Residential properties within this area and generally throughout Kansas City do not see 100% impervious surface coverage. And it appears from at least Kansas City, Missouri parcel viewer that other properties would have adequate landscaping areas that are not used for vehicular use. And the difficulty could have been obviated by completing work according to Chapter 88 requirements. And that concludes my presentation.
any questions for Mr. Tomlin from the board?
I do have.
Go ahead, Mr. Goritz.
Can you bring the picture in again, a little closer to see?
This picture or a different picture?
You have a different picture that,
I have this one of how the site is currently.
There's basically no grass. It's all concrete or rock.
Right.
right.
I guess I have one more question. I think at the last hearing we discussed impervious, even though gravel is permeable in the way our code is written, it is considered impervious.
Right. My understanding is that unless Sarah, you found an alternate definition. No? Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Tomlin? All right. Then ma'am, let's hear from you as to why you believe the board should grant the requested variances to allow you to keep all of this concrete and rock.
I take it out already, the truck, and I try to set it up the grass, but it's too cold now. But I take all the rock already.
Okay, so did you bring any photographs today of your home to show us that
No,
you?
because I don't finish now yet.
Okay.
I have the topsoil and I have the seeds, but they say next coming Saturday, we're gonna have some snowing, and that's what I'm planting, but I have everything already, and I already take it out the rock.
Okay, so the rock, as I understand it, is located at the front of the home. Is that
On the
correct?
side, yes, it was.
That's
on the
where it
front of
was.
The house.
Okay,
Now it's on the side and the trailer.
okay, so Connor, can you pull up make the photograph a little bit bigger? I just want to make sure we
Yes.
understand what area
And
she's
if,
talking
and
about.
if you would like me to go to Doodle Street View, I can.
Might
as
be
well.
helpful. Let's do that.
Okay, and I believe
And
that
we
would.
need to admit that though.
Mm.
So why don't, that'll be exhibit 10, I believe. I'm going to admit exhibit 10, which is a Google Street View of this home.
Te van a poner la vista esta que tienen de Google.
Would you mind sharing your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get it situated there.
Yeah, and make it as big as you can, Connor.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, in looking at this photograph, can you, is the entire front yard now free of gravel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so your intent is to, as soon as the weather permits, you're going to seed the area we see on this photograph
Yes.
beyond the fence with grass seed?
Done today.
Okay. All right. And then, so Connor, if she does that and that becomes grass, what variances would remain?
So the variances, let's see.
I think there were 3, A, B, and C.
Yeah, so A was 100% impervious surface coverage of the lot. I would have to redo calculations
Okay.
from that front yard to see how much of a reduction that is, to see if it goes below 75,
Okay.
to see if that variance disappears or at the very least is lessened. Variance request B would remain, and variance request C would, let's see. Sarah, would you say that variance request C would remain the side yard? How much of that would we consider a vehicular use area if vehicles could be parked there? Or are we considering it that at all?
I would say a portion of C might remain if the board was inclined to grant any needed variance for request B on the street side yard. You might want to grant an accompanying request C just to for completeness sake.
So B, it sounds like B and C would remain. And if I ran calculations, A potentially could bring it below 75%. But it's possible that it could be still slightly over that 75%.
Depends on the math.
Can you do that calculation?
Yeah, right now, or
I mean, how long is it going to take you to do? That's what my question is.
probably not exactly at this moment. I'd have to take the lot dimensions and the front yard dimension.
So she's
It
here.
could be, yeah, it could be push this until later in the docket to
That's
allow
what
me
I
to
was-
do those.
So ma'am, we need to do some calculations based on what you're presenting. I would like to still finish your case today. So what I think I'm going to do is ask you and the interpreter just to step back and let us take another case so Mr. Tomlin can do some math. And
right.
then we'll have you come back up. Is there any other questions before she goes for the applicant?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
For Mr. Tomlin. When you calculate the surface area, could you also check the street side yard so that we can figure out options on how we can reduce the variances?
Of course.
Okay, and then ma'am, you're not proposing that you tear out any of the concrete on the side of the house with what you're doing, correct? Okay, all right, just to confirm that's what her intent is. Okay, all right. Why don't you step back? We'll put your case in recess. Let us take another case. Mr. Tomlin, why don't you go do some math?
I am the next
Oh,
item, docket item.
let's do that one real quick and then what, I'm so.
Or do you want to take docket item number 2, which is not
Why
Mr.
why
Tom?
don't we move to another case real quick and allow you to do that, because that way we can keep this and the interpreter can leave. Okay,
Yep.
all right, thank you.
When I'm ready, I'll just step back out.
That would be great. Thank you, Connor.
Right. So just for the benefit of our audience, we are going to go back to docket item number 2. We've skipped number 1, just because it's also Mr. Tomlin's case. We'll take number 2, and then hopefully we can resume docket item number 10. Going a little out of order. So docket item number 2 is case CD BZA 2026-5. A request to approve a variance to the residential vehicular standards to permit a wider driveway, plus any other needed variances in an R 7.5 zoning district on about 0.34 acres generally located at 9415 Jarbo Street. Stephanie Saldari is the staff planner. If you're the applicant, I believe I saw the applicant online. If you could please raise your hand. Any other members of the public who would like to speak on this case, please raise your hand to be sworn in. Ryan Mueller is online, and I am promoting him to panelist. And Steve Mueller. I will also promote Steve to panelist. If you could both please turn on your cameras and microphones to be sworn in.
Is there anyone in the audience who's here today on this case, on docket number 2? Okay. Mr. Mueller and Mr. Mueller, I'm not sure I can see you very well, but can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me? This is
Yes.
Ryan Mueller.
Okay. I'd like you both to state your names and the address you reside at, and then I will swear you in. Mr. Ryan Mueller, we'll start with you.
Hello, my name is Ryan Mueller, and I reside at 9415 Jarbo, Kansas City, Missouri, 64114.
And then Mr. Steve Mueller.
Hi, Steve Mueller. I'm an owner of the property 9415 Jarbo, and I reside at 15068 Sherwood, Leawood, Kansas 66224.
Gentlemen, would you please raise your right hands to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Gentlemen, there's a staff report connected to your application today. Have you had a chance to review that?
Yes.
Okay. At the bottom of that report, the final page, which is page number 4, there's a list of administrative exhibits that number 1 through 9. Do you have any objection to my admitting those into evidence for the board to consider today?
No.
Okay. Exhibits 1 through 9 will be admitted. Stephanie has a presentation. We'll hear from her first, and then gentlemen, we'll hear from you. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, we have docket item number 2, CD BCA 2026-5, located on 9415 Jarbo Street, zone R-7.5, and the applicant seeks to obtain the variance to the width of the existing driveway. The driveway has been expanded without a previously approved variance, and the applicant wants to further expand the existing driveway with the construction of a retaining wall. The subject site is located in the southern part of the city, close to the state border. Highlighted in yellow here is the subject site. Our parcel viewer doesn't show the extent of it doesn't show that driveway expansion. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so this is the site plan provided by the applicant. So basically, the driveway was expanded where this blue line is, and then it will be expanded to where this green line is. So that's gonna give about 33 feet and 11 inches of driveway. Right now, it's at 28 inches and 28 feet and 11 inches. So these pictures are from the same southern side of the driveway where the retaining wall is going. This is a picture taken from the street, so facing the home, and this is a picture from the home facing the street. And this is more what it looks like now with that expansion. So we have the retaining wall going here. It's going pretty much like where the property line is. But the driveway will be more to about here. So the driveway won't go all the way to the property lines, what I'm trying to say. And so this brings us to today. We have one variance request. So this is a variance of 11.91 feet to the residential vehicular standards to permit a driveway width of 33.91 feet on the subject site per submitted site plan. So this is a 54% change. Change to the character of the neighborhood is anticipated. So per staff's analysis on Parcel Viewer and looking at past records, none of the nearby houses have driveways that exceed 22 feet in width at the property line. And so the variance could be obviated by reducing the width right at the property line to 22 feet, and it can be expanded after the property line to be at the 33, almost 34 feet. And then doesn't show the whole cul-de-sac, but as you can see, those driveways are not as wide. And that concludes my presentation. Yes.
Any questions for Stephanie?
So we just have the one variance and it's for at the curb.
So the driveway is going to be expanded. It has been expanded and it's going to be further expanded at the property line.
But beyond the curb, it's compliant in width.
Like the ribbon part, I believe so. What's the site plan?
How many feet back from the curb does it have to remain? It's 22 feet is what's allowed, correct,
Yeah.
Stephanie? And how far back from the curb can you have something other than 22 feet?
So basically, like, from my understanding of the code, right after the property line, it can be expanded over 22
So in
feet.
other words, this property line goes to the curb because there's just an easement. So that,
Yeah.
where's their property line?
Oh,
A few
so this
feet
is
back.
from Parcel Viewer. So basically, so it's not right on the street here, so it's a few
Will you
feet
share
back.
your screen, please?
Oh, I thought it was, sorry.
Make sure the Muellers can see that. So
Yeah.
roughly the yellow line you see on that
Hmm.
photograph, overhead photograph,
Yeah.
is the property line. But
Yeah.
that's an estimation because we don't have a survey, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the board's general education, the 22 feet should start at the curb and go to approximately where that yellow line is, and then they could expand it beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Other questions? All right, then let's hear from the Muellers. I don't know, gentlemen, which of you want to speak, but explain to us why you can't accommodate the ordinance and put in a curb cut that's 22 feet to your property line and then expand it back further along the proposed retaining wall.
Just to back up here a little bit, a survey was done. That's how I was able to demonstrate those lines on the property where Stephanie alluded to. I don't know why that wasn't included in the PowerPoint, but I've submitted that in addition to petitions from all the neighbors on our street of, approval to proceed with any variance that I need. They're all in favor of it. In addition to that, I know nobody on the street has a wider driveway than me, but I have a list of 10 homes within a mile of my home from other neighborhoods that have excess driveways of 30 to 35 feet. Going back to your question of where the retaining wall is going to go or how far is it going to go, it's not going to encroach the approach of the driveway and go all the way to the curb. Was that your question? I just want to clarify that.
Well, yes, that's part of a question, but my question is broader. So the code allows you to, the code allows a 22-foot curb cut. And right now you're at 28 and 11 inches, and you want to expand that even further to 33. And what the code would allow you to do is you have to maintain that 22-foot curb cut up to where the front property line of your property is located. But beyond that, you could expand it out. So, if that's just past the sidewalk, then your curb cut stays 22, but then you could expand the rest of the driveway as you're wanting. What we're trying to do on the board is maintain consistency and compliance with the ordinance. But you're still allowed to have a broader driveway to the back. It's really about the curb cut. And so so I want to understand why can't you maintain the 22-foot curb cut? Because that's pretty easy and you still get most of your driveway, or you could probably get all of your driveway other than the curb cut.
Can you go to the Google Street View of the home so I can understand what the curb cut means
Sure.
that you're referring to?
Sure.
Yeah, to
You have
rephrase,
to admit that as an but you don't have that in, right, Stephanie?
Parcel viewer might be sufficient.
Okay, should I just use my PowerPoint or?
Go to slide 5.
I'm sorry, Jazz, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm
Oh,
trying to make
I
sure.
was just going to say, to rephrase, you're allowed to have a 33-foot driveway. You're just not necessarily allowed to have it 33-foot beyond beyond the front property line.
Right.
So in picture 1 here on the left-hand side, you see the stakes that I had the property surveyed. Do you see that?
It needs to
I
get bigger.
do.
We can't see it. Yeah, I see.
Oh, wait. Distance, yeah, okay.
But I need,
Right here.
I need to see the one at the very front. Yeah.
I don't see it on this picture, but I see
It's
them
on the
here.
first picture. There's a pink ribbon.
Yeah, right here.
Yep.
Is that the front property line right there where she's
So-
got her mouse?
Yep, so that's the property line.
Okay.
And what I am proposing is directly across from that, there's a cut in the concrete, which
Yes.
basically, so everything in front of that line is, I'm not concreting that. That would be then entering the city's area, which would probably require another variance. We're not going into that area. We're leaving that area as is. And all we're discussing is widening the back portion of the driveway.
Okay, well if you want to expand that to the 33 inches, if that is truly the property line, you can do that. But my concern is the current curb cut on this driveway is too big. So the current driveway is measured at 28.11 inches, I believe, or 28 feet and 11 inches. Is that correct?
Yes.
Stephanie? So that's the problem, right?
Okay.
So that whole area should only be 22 inches wide.
22
Yeah.
feet.
22 feet. I keep
22
saying
feet,
inches.
sorry.
22 feet wide.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so this is where the front and the corner of the front and the side property line. So then the front property line is across here. Any concrete that touches that line cannot be over 22 feet.
That touches that line.
Yeah, after that, it can expand wider.
Right. So, I mean,
I think
from
your
the-
question was, why? Why can you not use it at 22 feet? And as you see in this picture, that truck has a trailer on it. And driveways in Missouri or Kansas never give you enough room to make it easy to back in and push a trailer back into the garage. And so the width of that driveway being 28 versus I guess the standard 22, it's a 6 foot difference, 3 feet, I guess maybe on each side is really for ease of access and obviously crumpling of the landscape that you end up doing, ruining the yard because you can't get the trailer onto the driveway very easily.
How long has the 28 feet been in place?
Ryan, do you know the date on that? That's probably 2 or 3, 4 years, in the last 5 years for sure.
And no permit was pulled to place that concrete, I
You
take it?
don't need a
Uh,
permit for concrete, do you?
No, you don't. You need a, if you're making like a new driveway, you would need a permit just for the curb cut, but Public Works would
Okay,
usually manages that. But if you're just expanding the concrete on your driveway, you don't need a permit for it.
okay, but you still just have to
Meet the,
meet the code.
yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything. All right, so when the concrete was, were you living in this home 4 or 5 years ago?
Yes.
Okay, and so when that new concrete was poured, did you expand the curb cut at that time?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the only variance we're addressing is really the 28 foot because he's saying that he's not intending to put 33 beyond the property line. Is that correct?
That's
Gentlemen?
correct. That's correct.
Okay, so board members, questions? And on the current driveway, is the 28-foot issue only at that curb cut where it flares out? Or is it 28 feet all the way back to that break in the concrete, that concrete seam that he was referring to?
The 28 foot includes the flares.
That's what I'm asking. So is it only flared out at the end? Is that the 28 foot and it goes back down to 22 in the back? Do we have those measurements?
So over, I was looking for this. So just based on the site plan, in my understanding when talking with Ryan was that that 28 feet is at the property line.
So it's only at the flare. As you go back to the property line, it's a little less than 28 feet. I just want to make sure I understand. The blue line is the going across the driveway. Stephanie, is
Yeah.
that the property line?
No.
Okay,
The property line is the orange line.
can't see that.
Oh, yeah. Let me
It's
zoom
only
in.
east-west. It's not
Okay.
showing a property line north-south.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not seeing that. Okay.
Okay, can we see the orange property line now?
Yeah, but we're talking about the front property line.
Okay. So the front property line is, or the survey or the city's line is where the green line
Ryan,
is.
Ryan, I think she's talking about north-south.
Correct. Correct.
Not back,
Yes,
not back
south.
towards the driveway. She's looking for a property line that goes by the front of the house, and that's not there.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
it doesn't exist.
So do we have a measurement of the driveway at the front property line? I mean, the board kind of needs to know, I mean, it's a variance, but we need to know if the entire driveway is non-compliant up to the front property line, or is it just the flare at the front? I think it would make a difference to the board to know that.
You're wanting to know the width from,
So think of it this way, Ryan. That concrete seam that you tell us is the front property line. Following me?
yeah, that's the city's approach.
Okay, I understand that. At that concrete seam, if you took a measuring tape and
Mhm.
took it at that location across the driveway, how wide is the driveway at that location?
Um, I'm going to say It's less than 22 feet.
Do you
Because
have a survey or a measurement that we could admit into evidence to prove that?
okay, so you want to know the width of the existing driveway.
Correct. Not the one that you're wanting to put in, the one right at that concrete seam.
I mean, if you gave me 30 seconds, I could run out and measure it, but that wasn't a request prior to. We got 4 to 5 other different measurements here. I don't think that question.
Can he run out and measure it and come right back? It'll take him a couple of minutes if it's worth that time.
Hunter's ready.
Why don't, I mean, I don't really want to continue a case just for a measurement. So, sir, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, run fast.
Looks like he's gone.
And then yeah, I know. I hope he took a camera so that he can actually upload this and we can mark it as an exhibit.
Probably, I don't know. I texted him to take a picture, but I don't know if he left the phone on the desk or not.
That's all right. Let's see what he does.
You're basically just asking the width of the driveway just inside the front property line. Is that correct?
No, I actually want to know what the width of it is within the property that is not owned by your son or you.
Okay.
So okay, what did you find, Ryan?
Can you go back to the view and make sure I got the right measurement you're
Yes.
requesting?
Yes. So basically, I want a measurement that would be
Like here.
there and closer to that concrete seam, if you can see that, Stephanie, on the overhead by blowing it up.
Oh, yeah.
So wingtip to wingtip, basically?
Yes.
So wingtip to wingtip.
Yeah, what's that measurement?
So what you measured, Ryan, or not?
Nope, I measured the width of the driveway.
At the property line.
At the property line, what's that measurement, Ryan?
So you have the seam.
Yep.
So between the seam and the garage, right? But
Yep.
right where the blue line runs through,
Mhm.
that's 20 feet.
Okay, so you're talking about this east to west line. Is that what you're talking about? Or you're talking about the north-south line?
Yeah, north-south line.
Okay, so you measured the north-south line.
Yep.
And so
So-
from that blue line that she's got her pointer on, her cursor on, down to the other edge of the concrete is 20 feet.
Nope, that is 27 feet.
Okay, and that includes some of the grass or is 27 feet just the concrete surface?
So the blue line at the north of the screen, from that point all the way down to the other point of the blue, that is 27 feet. Now, where the grass is on the north side to the bottom of the concrete, that's 20 feet.
Okay, so that would be less than 22?
I mean, if you all wanted to admit another exhibit, there is a permit from LDD from 2025, CLD PMT 2025-380, indicating that the driveway width was 28 feet 2 inches.
Perhaps that was at the, to use their terms, wingtip to wingtip, at the actual curb.
At the actual curb?
The document attached to the permit indicates that it's at the property line.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I think we should admit that because I think it would be helpful that someone else has pulled a permit in 2025 for concrete. So I'm going to mark that as exhibit 11 and admit that for the board's consideration. All right. Hayes, Jazz, I'm sorry, did you have another question?
I don't know. It sounds like there's a lot of confusion here about the measurements.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we can necessarily vote on something that we don't necessarily have clear schematics or measurements on.
Okay. So it seems like our board is somewhat confused about this, and I think in fairness to you, I think it might be worth us continuing this case to allow you to go and get a perfectly measured diagram.
That is on here.
11:08 a.m.
That is on here.
What are you, when you, I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. Where is that?
I don't know what do you have eyes on this screen?
I do. I can see what's up right now.
Okay. As far as the measurements, the blue line at the north part of the line furthest north is that is the edge of the current driveway.
Correct, at 28 feet, 11 inches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where were you just saying you measured 20 feet?
Yeah.
So I measured 20 feet. Okay. I measured it from the bottom of that grass to the concrete, the bottom of that grass to the concrete. So to the north, the driveway's been widened 7 feet. So from the,
So you're giving us a grass dimension and not concrete dimensions for both of these.
I'm giving you a concrete dimension,
What is the concrete dimension?
20 feet from the width of the concrete in this photo right here is 20 feet.
I guess, sir, can you provide a diagram? Because you're saying the width of the concrete is 28 feet, 11 inches, and you're also saying it's 20 feet. So I need a way to clearly delineate which is 20 versus 28. Is that east-west is 20? You're saying that's the property line? Can we draw this on here to provide clarity? There's just two numbers that we're receiving, and I don't understand how they are different.
Okay, so the concrete edge, the edge of the concrete on the north side.
So in this diagram, the edge of the concrete on the north side is represented by the blue line, since you said this has already been expanded.
Yep, so the blue line to the gray concrete right there is 7 feet. That's been widened. Then the next measurement from the concrete to the other side of the concrete going south is 20 feet.
So are you talking about
7 feet.
what the measurement was before you expanded the extra 7 feet?
So I think, yeah, I think the
So-
answer is that it has been expanded. It is beyond the 22
Beyond
feet.
22 feet.
So I think the variance is still required and the board can vote on it.
The question is how much of a variance?
Well, he's saying, I think you have to
He
say,
wants
I
28
think,
feet, 11.
yeah, I think you need to do 28 feet, 11 inches because
Mhm.
otherwise we're not addressing it.
Mhm.
So it'd be a 6 foot, 11 inch variance then,
Yeah.
if 22 feet is allowed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it-
Yes. I think that's clear. All right. So that's the request, right, gentlemen?
Well, no, because then they wanted to expand it again.
No, I understand
Right.
that, but I mean, as for as for the concrete that is up
Existing.
to the property line, that could be a lesser request than beyond, right? So, okay, I
So-
think the board understands what they could do.
Because from my understanding, when speaking with the applicant, was that that second expansion is also touching the property line. So I just want to make sure, like, I guess, that's cleared up so they don't have to come back
Which property line?
to this. So the front, so that expansion that's happening on the south side, my understanding, because I spoke about this with the applicant extensively, is also touching the front property line, so that the driveway on the property line is also being expanded. on the front property line.
Well, depending on what the board allows, they may or may not allow further expansion at that
Okay.
location. You see, I understand what he's asking,
Mhm.
but I'm just so the board understands the measurements. Does the board understand the measurements beyond the property line? So you can in an educated fashion, make a motion. Not hearing that they don't.
So we're currently at 2811 beyond the property line,
Correct.
and the applicant's proposal is either 2811 or 3311 beyond the property line. I'm a little unclear on that part.
Stephanie, explain it.
So, it's right now 2011, but with that expansion up to the retaining wall, it's gonna be 3311. And so that, from my understanding with speaking with the applicant, that small expansion, is gonna go across that front property line too.
I guess the question to the applicant, does that sound accurate? Are you expecting it what measurement are you expecting it to be between the street and your property line?
Brian, let me answer. It will be no wider at the street than it is today. So the widening up to the 33 feet is not all the way actually to the boundary because there's going to be a retaining wall. Then that retaining wall comes in several inches from the property line that's east to west. So the width of the driveway from the street or from the curb going in at least 10 feet will be no wider than it is today.
And that's the 28 feet, 11 inches, correct, Mr. Mueller? That you just
I think that's correct. That's the wingtip to wingtip that I use. But yes, that's my understanding. So no, it's not being widened again within 10 feet of the street or whatever that property distance is that the city requires. The cement would be cut in towards the current where the current driveway is without expanding it wider within within 10 feet of the curb. Brian,
ahead.
does that sound correct, Brian?
Yeah, the wingtips are what they are as today. We're not asking for more wingtip coverage. We're not entering the city approach on the right-hand side.
So to clarify, I know the variance is for this 33 foot dimension. However, would we need to grant, if the board does not feel that 33 is appropriate and 28 would stay, would we still vote on that since it was done without a variance previously? Does that bring that into compliance, or are we only voting on if it is expanded to 33?
I guess that would be up to the board.
Okay.
If you want them to have 33 or 28 feet.
But there is not currently an approved variance for the
Right.
28 feet.
Right.
22 feet is our requirement.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think we need a variance vote today and it's been advertised. So even if you're going to vote to grant a variance for the portion of the driveway that is not on the client's property, we need to do that. Okay.
That.
Wait, there is nothing
this
that's not
here-
on, there's nothing that's not on our property.
Okay,
What
so,
Sir.
excuse me.
Yep.
Okay, so the wingtip to wingtip, so that's in the city property, so
Oh, I
that is
gotcha.
under Public Works. And
My
we're just
mistake.
talking about where the part of the driveway that touches this yellow line on the west side. That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Understood?
Yeah, so on that side, on the north side, we just, from that wingtip, just made it in line with our home.
Got it, so it's like this. Okay.
Okay. All right. Does the board have other questions for staff or for the applicant? If not, then I'd entertain a motion if you're confident you can do that.
I will offer a motion. In docket number 2, case number 00005, I move we grant a variance for 6 feet, 11 inches to allow the applicant to have a driveway width of 28 feet 11 inches in accordance with site plan and staff report.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Gorens,
Aye.
Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
The request has been granted as stated. Thank you very much. Let's move back to docket number 10.
Could I ask one question, please?
Sure.
So to widen the driveway to 33 feet doesn't require a variance?
No.
No,
Not
it
beyond
does
the
not.
property line.
Yeah, not beyond your property line.
But at the property line, all that the board has approved is the current width of 28 feet 11 inches.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Okay.
if we expand to 33 feet, that we can do that without requiring a permit or approval. Is that right?
As long as it's not 33 feet at the property line.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let's go back to docket number 10 and ask the applicant to come back up. Thank you for your patience. Again, I just want you to remind you, you're both still under oath, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Todavía está
all right.
bajo juramento, dice. Ok.
Connor, thank you. Connor, you've had a chance to do calculations. Can you
Yes,
please
so-
share those with the board?
Yes, so I'll share my screen really quick.
And just so the
So-
board is clear, this is 401 Lawn Avenue, correct?
That's correct. So, the recalculation for variance request A, if that front yard area is, landscaped, grass, bushes, whatever, that would reduce the total impervious surface area for the property to 78%. So what would be, required as far as a variance is 200 square feet, which equals that 3% past, 75. So a variance of 200 square feet to the, total impervious surface area.
And that's on that would be variance A.
That is correct.
Okay.
And Jazz, you had a question about the street side yard.
Yes.
I was a little confused about that. Were you just asking if this front yard area was landscaped, would that impact that street side area at all?
My curiosity was, if the street side yard were also converted into landscaping, how would that impact the variances as well?
Depends how much of it would be landscaped. Let me pull this up. So the street side area here is it's in the street side yard with if you align like the front wall of the home, and it extends all the way back to that rear property line. So say you put, and that's only within the property lines, obviously. So if, I don't know, 5 feet were landscaped, it would be a small percentage, but since it's such an extensive area, that street side yard, it just depends how much would need to be landscaped, and those calculations would, just have to be ran at a later time, since we don't have those numbers right at this moment.
Other questions for,
Son 78, 75, tiene 78.
I understand the changes, but she's proposing and
Could you
offered.
pull your microphone?
Oh, I am so sorry. As I understand the proposal she's submitting to the board, that the variance for number A would now read that she's requiring a 3%
Right,
or
200.
200 square feet variance.
Right, so 200 square feet variance, and that would be a 3% change from the requirement.
Okay, a 3% change. Got it. Certainly
Or
better
it'd
than
be-
100%.
Right, it would be 78% impervious across the lot instead of 100.
Right, right. Okay. But B and C would remain the same. Okay.
That's
Any other
correct.
question? To the applicant, anything else you want to tell us or? Okay, then I would ask the board to offer a motion.
I'll offer a motion in docket number 10, case number 00139. I move we grant the applicant's request with the revised percentage of 3% for variance A, along with, as previously stated, for variance B and C. Is that correct? Leave those as is?
Just for clarification, variance A would be a variance in the amount of 200 square feet, correct?
Oh, we don't want the percentage.
No, I
Okay.
think we need to be
All right,
accurate.
Let me revise that.
Yep.
I move we grant the applicant's request in accordance with the updated calculations by city staff, noting a 200 square foot variance on variance A, along with the information already identified for variance B and variance C in accordance with the site plan and staff report.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, please say, oh, sorry, please call the roll.
Lawrence,
Nay.
Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
The motion passed, and we will hopefully see grass growing in your front yard very soon.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, now I think we're back to variance number 1.
We're back to docket item number 1, yes.
Okay.
Case CD BZA 2025-154, a request to approve a variance to the location and design requirements of vehicular use areas in residential districts to permit gravel on the subject site on about 1.89 acres generally located at 211 East 147th Street. Connor Tomlin is the staff planner. Tara Stevens is the applicant and property owner who is online. I'm promoting Jeff and Tara Stevens to panelists. If there are any other members of the public who would like to speak on this case, please raise your hand online or approach the microphone on the podium to be sworn in.
All right. Good morning. Mr. and Mrs. Stevens, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Could you both please state your full names for the record and your address, and then I will swear you in.
Jeff Stevens, 211 East 147th Street, Kansas City, 64145.
Tara Stevens, 211 East 147th Street, Kansas City, Missouri, 64145.
Would you please raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We do.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience here physically or online that has an interest in this case?
There were no other hands raised online.
Thank you, Ms. Copeland. And seeing no other members in the audience, we will move forward. Mr. and Mrs. Stevens, there was a staff report created in connection with your case today. At the bottom of that report, there's a list of administrative exhibits that number 1 through 9. Do you have any objection to my admitting those for the board's consideration today?
No.
No.
Exhibits 1 through 9 will be admitted. Mr. Tomlin will make a presentation, and then we'll hear from you, Mr. and Mrs. Stevens.
Okay, today we have docket item 1, CD BZA 2025-00154, located at 211 East 147th Street. This is an R80 zoning district. The request is a variance to the parking design standards to permit gravel on the subject site, plus any additional variances. This is the general location in this, of the site in far southern Kansas City. This is a closer look at the site and then just zoomed in more on the area that we're talking about since it's such a large property. This is the site plan submitted. On the right-hand side, you'll see outlined in red. It's just a zoomed-in version, so it's easier to read. And then what I have here is a collage of images. You'll see in 2018 the original extent of the gravel, and then over time it has been expanded. The variance request is a variance of complete deviation to the materials permitted in vehicular use areas to permit gravel on the subject site. A substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is anticipated. While the work has already been completed, the expansion of the gravel far exceeds the original state and was not granted through approvals by planning staff, and many other properties, as stated by the applicant in their application, do have gravel. The expansion of the gravel on this lot nullifies any legal nonconformance it may have previously held. The difficulty could have been obviated by paving the length of the driveway to meet current code standards. Again, it's been expanded over the years in that imagery that I had shared. And this, I do want to clarify that you'll see this large accessory structure. This was heard by the board in December 2024 for that accessory structure. The gravel was not discussed at that time because it wasn't necessarily known that it was expanded from its original state. And this was brought originally to staff's attention when they were, I believe, going through the permit work for that accessory structure. And I was pulled into a meeting on October 3rd of 2025 to discuss this gravel expansion, which is how it led us to where we are today. And that concludes my presentation.
Any questions of Mr. Tomlin?
So,
Board?
so we don't know how old the old gravel drive was. It may or may not have had legal non-conforming status, but at this point, if it did or not, the expansion would nullify that. And that would have
Right.
the
Yeah. So there's not a CLNU issued for gravel on the site. Obviously, it was probably there for a very long time prior to the current code standards. But that expansion would break any legal nonconformance it may have held.
which is why it's here today.
That's correct.
Okay.
And are most of the driveways in this neighborhood gravel?
I believe the applicant had a statement. Let me look at my staff report really quickly here. I believe they gave a number. Yes, they said in their application 80% of the neighborhood are existing gravel driveways.
Okay, and you don't have any evidence to contradict that?
No, I wasn't on Doodle Street View going down and counting every house, but
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Stevens, please, one at a time, or whoever wants to speak, please tell the board why you believe we should grant this requested variance.
Yes, thank you very much. First, we do want to thank you for listening to us because this has been a project we've been working on for a while. So I do want to state that first, this neighborhood, I've lived there since 1997. My home was built in 1920 something. The original gravel driveway, if you look at that photo that he has of 2018, with the aerial view, it appears that the gravel kind of stops like halfway back towards the house. But the gravel actually went all the way. If you look at that photo, you can see there is an opening in the fence and a discoloration in the grass all the way to the back of the house. That is actually gravel. It was just kind of grown over because back in then I didn't have as much money to maintain the gravel, but it was gravel all the way to the back of the house. So in 2020, you see the photo, there's a large pile of gravel. That's when I got the money to add more gravel to re-gravel the existing driveway. So it has always been gravel, and it has always been gravel all the way to the back of my house. So the improvement was just adding more gravel to the existing driveway before the carport. As he stated, it was 80% approximately is the neighborhood. There's approximately 30 to 32 houses in the neighborhood. We were zoned RA, agriculturally zoned, up until approximately 2019, I believe. And so all the homes back then were all gravel. Up until later years, they started having some of them paved. It does not change the it's not non-conforming for my neighborhood. We were agriculturally zoned. Additionally, in the report, it states 88-565-07, and it says B, it states the zoning purpose to have more than gravel is to keep it low maintenance. If you can look at that last photo, we maintain our gravel driveway because we financially can't afford to spend $20,000 to pave such a large area. That's why we want to keep it gravel, and it does not non-conform with the neighborhood.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Stevens, before we have a question?
She did mention back in the 2018, the gravel did go all the way to the back. What was the additional part? There's like a triangle. When we added the carport, we did expand the gravel from that original to the west, and that is what we're asking for the variance for. At one point during the permit process, it had been approved. And then when we went in for the meeting, when we resubmitted our permit, it was denied later on, and we were told that the person who did approve it no longer works for the city, and it was done by mistake. So at one point we thought we were okay with the gravel, and then they were told, no, that was mistake by an ex-employee and it's not okay. So that's why we're here today.
And why we're
Okay.
doing a separate variance than we did, because we did a variance previously and we didn't
Right.
know that the gravel needed a variance as well. So that's why we're doing a separate variance.
Yeah, I think that explains it. Okay, Mr. Hayes.
I was just going to say, if no one else has questions of the applicant, I'll make a motion.
I hear no other, or nothing else. Go ahead.
On docket item 1, case 154, I move that we grant the applicant's requested variances in accordance with site plan staff report.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Please call the roll.
Gorens,
Aye.
Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
The request has been granted. Thank you both very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Does the board need a brief break before we continue, or is everybody okay to keep going? Keep going? Okay. All right, then let's move to our next docket, which I believe is docket number 3.
Docket
all about-
item number 3 is case CD BZA 2026-7, a request to approve a variance to the required side setbacks to allow for an addition to a single-family dwelling on the subject site, plus any additional variances on about 0.17 acres generally located at 7744 Grand Avenue. Liz Collins is the staff planner for this case. If you are the applicant, I think I see the applicant online, if you would raise your hand. Any other members of the public who would like to speak on this case, please raise your hand online or approach the microphone on the podium to be sworn in. So Patrick Ryan is being promoted to panelist. Could please turn on your microphone and camera to be sworn in. There are no other hands raised online.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Sir, would you state your full name and your address for me, and then I will swear you in.
Patrick Philip Ryan. My address is 6705 Northwest Lawson Lane, Parkville, Missouri, 64152.
Mr. Ryan, we're having a hard time hearing you. Please, if you can stay closer to your microphone, that'll be helpful to the court reporter, okay?
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience here today that's interested in this matter, docket item number 3? Okay, showing none, we'll move forward. Mr. Ryan, Ms. Collins will be presenting today, so let's hear from her first, and then we'll hear from you, okay?
Okay.
Can you guys see that on your screen?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, Liz, whenever.
All right. Good morning. Before you today, we have docket item number 3, which is CDBZA 2026-00007, which is located at 7744 Grand Avenue and is currently zoned R6. The applicant is seeking to obtain a variance to the required side setback to allow for a second-story addition to an existing single-family dwelling. Here is a general look at where the site is located.
The screen
still
share's
up?
not
Okay,
updating.
okay.
For that, sorry.
Yeah, it's still frozen. The right screen is.
Yeah, you can only see one side up here.
Okay. What about that? Then no.
Oh, there you
There
go.
you go.
Yep.
You
Okay,
got it.
perfect.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah,
All
right.
Learning curve. Okay. But anyways, yes. So here is a map showing the general location of the site. And here is a closer look at 7744 Grand. So here is an image from Google Street View, I think taken in 2024 of the front of the house. And here is the house as it currently is with the building addition above the garage. And here are some more photos from the applicant where you can see the second story addition extends over the garage by about a foot on top of it, which triggered the need for the variance. So the variance request is a variance of 1 foot and 6.5 inches to the infill residential development standards to permit a 3 foot, 5.5 side setback on the subject side per the approved site plan. This is about a 31% change from the required setback of 5 feet. A substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is anticipated as the encroachment may also have an impact on the adjoining property to the north, as the structure is now larger than it was and might create a shadow on the neighbor's property. The difficulty for this could have been avoided if the applicant had obtained a building permit prior to the construction or with a change in the design to fit it within the required setback of the existing footprint. The variance review criteria, the first is whether or not this would result in any unnecessary hardships. Staff find that strict application of the code does not result in any unnecessary hardships for the subject site. As I said earlier, the new addition extends over the garage by 1 foot, and the project could have been designed in a way to fit within the required 5 foot setback to avoid a variance completely. The applicant claims that the site constraints and the lot configuration present a unique hardship for the property, but staff observes that other dwellings nearby have similar lot widths and building footprints. Review criteria B is whether or not the variance is consistent with the purposes of the zoning and development code. The infill standards are basically to ensure that when additions are made to houses, they are built to the physical character of the neighborhood. And review criteria C is that the zoning variance will result in substantial justice being done for both the public and the individual. Approval of this variance will allow the applicant to bring the addition into compliance with the zoning code. But approval would also may encourage future developments to build without seeking the permits first and then seek entitlement afterwards. Denial would force the applicant to either remove the addition or shorten it to fit within the required setback. And that is the end of my presentation.
Okay, before I take questions, I'm not sure that I admitted all the exhibits in this case, so just out of caution, I'm gonna do that. Mr. Ryan, at the end of the administrative report for your case, there are 9 items that are listed as administrative exhibits. Do you have any objection that I admit those so the board can consider those today?
Not at all.
Okay, those 9 will be admitted in case I failed to do that earlier. Okay, now, any questions for Liz? Mr. Ryan, let's hear from you as to why you believe the board should grant this request.
Yeah, we're requesting the limited setback variance to allow for continuation of the residential addition that aligns with the structure. We believe that, I mean, due to the current placement of the home on the lot, the dimensional constraints of the property, that strict reinforcement or enforcement of the setback requirement would present and prevent us from reasonable expansion of the residence. The requested relief here, I think, is minimal, considering that overhang, and it doesn't change the use, density, or character of the property. And in addition to that, it remains consistent in scale with the appearance of the surrounding homes and will not adversely impact any adjacent properties with respect to light, air, privacy, drainage, anything like that. And granting this variance allows us reasonable residential improvement while maintaining the intent of the zoning code and ordinance.
All right, board members, questions? Hearing no questions?
I
Go for Jess.
don't like forgiveness instead of permission, but a foot is pretty dang small.
It is.
Yeah.
I understand. A motion? Anyone?
Sure. On docket item 3K7, I move that we grant the requested variance in accordance with site plan and staff report.
I have a motion from Mr. Hayes. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Ms. Mixdorf. Please call the roll.
Gorens, Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Sir, your request has been granted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, shall we move to the next docket, which is docket number 4?
Docket item number 4 is case CD BZA 2025-176. A request to appeal several zoning violations related to an unpermitted use, general auto repair, and commercial vehicle storage at the subject property on about 0.4 acres generally located at 7616 Troost Avenue. Anna Naniski is the staff planner for this case. If you are the applicant, property owner, if you could please raise your hand online. I think the attorney is online. Tony Van Treese, I'm going to promote you to panelist. Any other members of the public who would like to speak on this case, please raise your hand online or approach the microphone on the podium to be sworn in. And Marlboro Community Coalition, I'll promote to panelist. And Viola Maxwell, I'm going to promote to panelist. You could turn on your cameras and microphones to be sworn in, please. You have 3 people online.
Okay. Folks, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I believe you said there was an attorney present for the applicant.
Tony Van
Yeah.
Treese?
Yeah,
Mr. Van
just
Treese,
for
can you
just
hear
for
me?
just for clarification, I'm not the attorney. I'm just an attendee of this meeting.
Okay, is there anyone here who is actually representing?
You're listed as the applicant.
Are you
sir.
the applicant, Mr. Van Treese?
I am not the applicant either.
Okay.
Who is the applicant?
The owner appears to be Azra Mountain Realty. Is there anyone from Azra Mountain Realty online? We don't have an applicant. We can't really proceed, so. And Mr. Van Treese, are you an attorney? I'm sorry.
I am an attorney.
You do not represent the owner of this property.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I see a couple other people present. Miss Maxwell, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to see you from here. Are you here in opposition or support of this case?
Opposition.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you turn up your microphone or move closer?
Microphone. Opposition.
Opposition, okay. And then someone from all I see is Marlboro Community. Ma'am, what's your name? I see you.
Diane Hirschberger. I'm the Executive Director of the Marlboro Community Coalition, and I'm
Okay.
here in opposition.
Okay. And Mr. Van Treese, are you here in support or opposition of this case?
I'm just here as an observer. I'm not affiliated with this case.
Okay, so if there is an applicant or a representative of the property owner, if you could please raise your hand online, because I don't believe anyone here in person is.
Okay. So to the individuals that are here of interest in this case, we have to have an applicant one way or another to proceed or
If
to
not
make.
an applicant, staff would request that this be dismissed.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I was going to move to staff and ask that question. So
I would
does the
second
board need to
that
hear
if I
anything
could.
else? I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Viola Maxwell.
Yes, Miss Maxwell.
I just wanted to say I would second her.
Okay, okay, all right.
I'm allowed to.
All right. Okay. All right. I think the board will take some action here. All right. So hearing no questions from staff, we have no going once, going twice, no one here from the applicant, correct? Either in person or online.
There are no other hands raised online.
Thank you, Ms. Copeland. Then I would entertain a motion on this case.
I'll make a motion.
Yes, Mr. Hayes.
On docket item 4, case 176, I move that we dismiss the case.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Ms. Wright. Please call the roll.
Gorens,
Aye.
Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
This matter has been dismissed. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right. Why don't we take a quick break for like 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back. Summarizing. Red letter. First. To whom? You have to have. To whom is an advantage, you just. But you're going for a zoning variance. Okay, Ms. Copeland, I think we're ready.
Docket item number 5 is case CD BZA 2025-177, a request to appeal a determination related to an unpermitted use at the subject site zoned R 1.5 and addressing the zoning violation on about 2.6 acres generally located at 8510 Troost Avenue. Anna Naniski is the staff planner for this case. If you are the applicant or a member of the public who would like to speak on this case, please raise your hand online or come to the microphone on the podium to be sworn in. The applicant is listed as Shiani Givens, and I am not seeing that name online.
There may also be a Mark Bird.
I don't see a Mark Bird either.
Is there anyone who's connected with New Reflections Technical Institute? Anyone in the audience? Strike two?
Yeah, just one more call for anyone on 8510 Troost Avenue, Shiani Givens, New Reflections Technical Institute. Staff would request that this case be dismissed.
Okay, because this was already continued once, correct? Any going once, one more time. No one in the audience on this case, correct? All right, then board members, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Go ahead, Ms. Reyes.
Docket item 5, case 177, I move that we dismiss the case.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second for Mr. Gorence. Please call the roll.
Gorence,
Aye.
Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
This matter's been dismissed. Let's move to the next docket number 6.
Do you want to take number 7? The applicant needs to leave for
Oh,
another
7,
meeting.
we've already
Did
done.
7.
You mean,
I'm sorry, number 8.
yes, we can take number 8
Okay.
since we've had a delay this morning. Let's call docket number 8. Sorry, psych. Let's go to, sorry, that's the funniness of my personality. Let's call docket number 8. Ms.
Docket item number 8 is case CD. I'm sorry to Genevieve if she's on her way.
Yeah, we didn't mix things up.
Docket item number 8, I'll call it very slowly. This case CD SUP 2025-41, a request to approve a special use permit for the expansion of a school use in District R5. She's on the elevator. District R5 and B1-1 on about 14 acres, generally located at 3301 East 75th Street. Genevieve Kahn is the staff planner who's currently on the elevator. And we have the applicant here in person. If you are a member of the public who would like to speak on this case, if you would please raise your hand online or come to the microphone on the podium to be sworn in. We don't have any hands raised online. Okay, if you want to go ahead and swear them in while we're
Let's
waiting
do
for
that. All right.
Genevieve.
Ladies, let's have each of you state your name, your address, and then I'll swear you both in at the same time. So whoever wants to go first.
Shannon Jacks, 2901 Troost. That's the BOE's headquarters.
Okay.
And I'm Shelley Omer. I'm at 1329 Rhode Island in Lawrence, Kansas.
Would you both please raise your right hands to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And to the individual in the audience, do you intend on speaking or are you just here in support? Okay, then I won't swear you in. We'll just wait for Genevieve. Slow elevators. It's like that watched pot that when you're waiting to boil.
That's right.
While I am waiting for her, I could admit exhibits. That would be one more thing I can do. In the staff report today, there's a list of administrative exhibits that are connected to the case. Those number, oh, hold on. I don't have that one pulled up because we moved. There's 9 exhibits on the final page. Any objection to the admission of those for the board to consider those today? Who's going to speak? One of you has to, one of you have to
No
tell me.
objections.
Okay. Exhibits 1 through 9 will be admitted. And now we'll wait for Genevieve and we'll hear the staff presentation and then we'll hear from you. Okay.
I don't think we were ready to go through 5 quite so quickly.
I know, right? The last 2 have been a little bit of a surprise.
Hi, Genevieve. Sorry. 5 was dismissed. We're skipping.
Sorry, Genevieve, to make you run down in the elevator. Okay.
Elevators are a
So
little sketchy.
everything's been admitted. We're ready for you to proceed when you're ready.
Okay. There is another hand raised online to speak on this case.
Okay, why don't you do that while she's setting up her computer?
Okay, so it's Marlboro Community Coalition. If you'd like to turn on your camera and microphone to be sworn in.
I want to make sure I have the right case. This is this 75th Street School case?
Yes, that's right,
Okay,
ma'am.
yes,
And you're here interested in that case or not?
yes.
Okay,
My
let's
name
go
is
ahead. Go ahead.
Diane
Say-
Hirschberger. Oh, I'm the executive director of the Marlboro Community Coalition.
And Ms. Hirschberger, what's your address?
8740 Brooklyn.
Okay,
Kansas City.
would you raise your right hand to be sworn? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes,
Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Okay, we'll hear from you as soon as we hear from the staff presentation and the applicant. Okay, thank you. Genevieve, you're on.
Yes, thank you. Docket item number 8 is for a special use permit for 3301 East 75th Street. The site is located in the southern portion of the city, east of Highway 71. And here's the site highlighted in yellow along 75th Street, was the previous Satchel Paige Elementary School. And the proposal is to reuse the existing building in the school, and most of the need for this special use permit is overall site improvements, mostly to vehicular use area. So there's an existing parking and drive along the front of the property, and then what's proposed is additional drive to the rear of the property and parking to accommodate what will be the elementary side of things, and then the front half of the building will be middle and high school grades. So really no changes expected to the building overall. And then I have some elevations here. And again, no major changes to these, just updating windows, doors, finishes, things like that. And then a few variances with this special use permit. Variance A is to the long-term bicycle parking. There are 13 spaces required, and the applicants are requesting a complete deviation to this. A substantial change is not expected. They are providing all of the required short-term bicycle parking, which is more what we typically see outside for anyone who's coming and going from the site, either during school operations or, neighborhood folks utilizing the property. The difficulty could be obviated by providing the storage space needed for these long-term bicycle parking spaces. And then variants B and C are related to wall signage. So first we'll talk about B, which is on the facade that is facing 75th Street. And this is for the middle school and high school signage. And because this property is in a residential zoning district, the building is subject to the signage standards for residential zoning districts, which may not exceed 20 square feet in area. The proposed signage is 279 square feet, which is a 1,395% increase. And I would like to note also that the signage will be integrated into the building material, and it will be non-illuminated. Substantial change is not necessarily anticipated, just based on the distance off of the right-of-way and the way that it'll be integrated into the building material on the wall. And the difficulty could be obviated by reducing the size of the sign. And then variance C, which I have an old elevation in here, the one in your staff report is correct. This ES is no longer there. It's all put together on the left side, so apologies for that. But the proposed signage for the elementary school, which will be on the rear side of the building, which will not be visible from the right of way, but may be visible from abutting properties. It's proposed to be 210 square feet, so a change of 192 square feet, which is a 960% increase. And again, a substantial change is not necessarily anticipated just due to the visibility and the integration in the building. However, it is excessive to what is permitted. And again, the difficulty could be obviated by reducing the size of that sign. And then I just have a few street views of the site. So as you can see, I mentioned some of the parking and drive areas are existing. So this is if you're looking north, east on 75th Street. This is the southern drive entrance. And then heading still on 75th Street, the other entrance, the facade where that middle and high school entrance will be located. And then as you get up towards the corner, you can see there's substantial grade change on the site. And then rounding towards the eastern side of the property, the back portion of the building that will be dedicated to the elementary grades. And with that, the City Plan Commission heard this case and recommended approval subject to the conditions in the staff report. And I can take any questions.
Questions for Genevieve?
So the monument sign that you saw in that first image, is that being replaced by site signage monument sign SO3 in the drawings? It's not in addition to that one.
That is my understanding, but I can let the applicants provide more information.
That's correct.
Okay, any other questions? All right, then let's hear from the applicant. I don't know which one of you wants to present, but I'd like to.
I'm going to have Shelley present, but I just wanted to share for this particular project, this is made possible with the voter approved bonds. So thanks to voters. But also this is a unique case because we are co-locating two of our alternative programs that are at currently sites that need significant needs and underutilized sites. So we're able to use kind of one of our newer sites with these renovations, and those separation of entrances and clear signage has been an important thing for us so that there is certainty around the elementary school entrances and the middle and high school. We have significant changes within the building as well to make sure that those students are separated. That's been a priority for our staff and families. So I'll leave the rest to Shelley.
Well, I was just going to reiterate the same thing. So operationally, the building is divided internally with a very secure door with security services right at that door. So the middle school and the high school operate separately from the elementary, even though these academies are combined. So that wayfinding at those entries is crucial. We don't necessarily want elementary students entering into the middle school and high school. So we feel like that's an important part of getting everybody to the right place once they're on the site. Also, as far as the bike is concerned, we love the idea of this being a community asset. As far as the students that are coming to this school, they are not permanent students. They're meant to go back to their home school. And they are all, I believe, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the requirement is that they're bused. So we love the idea of adding the bicycles, but I don't know if the long-term bicycle storage is necessary for the actual students. And then staff-wise, it's a smaller group of staffing because they're dealing with a smaller group of students than a typical school of this size.
And I just want to clarify one thing. Our students aren't required to be bused, but the majority are coming by bus.
And so, okay, anything else? Sorry. So my biggest issues would always be the signage because these are quite large and they're much larger than the code allows. And we've had a lot of schools trying to expand signs and put multiple signs up. And this board has been pretty consistent in voting those down, just to tell the applicants in all upfront presentation. So if the students are being bused, isn't that going to direct the students to the section of the school where they go?
Certainly, parents that come for meetings with resource staff, teachers, that kind of thing. I think that's part of it. But yeah, I mean, you're correct in that,
Okay.
that operationally.
You're right. I mean, so people usually argue, having heard a number of these cases, right, that these signs are for direction. But if most of your population is being brought to the door they go to, I don't know that this large size is really needed. So can you make the sign smaller and still accomplish what you want?
Yes, so we've done a few studies and I don't know if there's any hands raised, or we have an architect and a civil engineer on the call. We have imagery where we've studied it within the 20 square feet. Of course, Success Academies at Page is a very long name. And so we were sizing the 20 square feet and what could fit in that and whether it could be even viewed by the city, by the street. And it would be very difficult to see. So I think
Yeah.
a reduction for sure.
Okay, so I mean, I'm one board member, right? But I have a little more flexibility as one board member on that initial monument sign, because that is a little more directional. It's those wall signs that I personally have more issues with. Yes.
And just to clarify, the monument sign meets the standards. So
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say so I'm more concerned about the wall signs. Those are the ones that are, in my mind, not so much directional, but more advertising. So, I mean, so that's, I think those are too big. I'm not sure I could support those. So, yes, Mr. Hayes.
Yeah, just for a little bit of backstory, in past couple months alone, we've denied similarly large signs in Raytown School District and North Kansas City School District. I'm fine with the special use permit, fine with the long-term bike parking variance. I think for the sake of consistency with what we've done with other districts, I personally, as one board member, would not be supportive of the sign variance. With that said, as a personal aesthetic judgment, I think the signs look fine. But we don't write the code. So I've encouraged other school districts, talk to your city council people, see if maybe there's some sort of code change that could, maybe specifically for schools or something. But I think if we were to approve this, it would set a bad precedent for, perhaps other uses. But that's my opinion as one board member.
So let me ask you a question. I think you're going to get strong pushback just because I know how the board has been handling these sign cases. And proceed today and address everything, which would include potentially a denial of the sign variances. Or would you want a continuance to try to shrink those signs and make them a bunch smaller? Or would you rather just go forward and not get your sign variances and go back to the drawing board and see what else might work?
What is the most expedient way because we can certainly reduce, can I have a design question first? Okay, so if it's 20 square feet, and does that include, like, if we're saying high school, middle school, and Success Academy at Page, all of it fits in within the 20 square feet? Or can it be separated out?
I'm gonna let Genevieve answer.
In residential districts, there's only one sign permitted per facade, so they couldn't be broken into. It would have to just be one sign with all those elements.
Okay.
And I think as one board member, I always see there's nuance, and we have our city code, and I think the reduction is often where we see more success, because a 1,400% increase is just a lot for us to agree to if we haven't explored other options to see what else is viable to make sure that we're kind of getting that right balance of the signage that's visible for people to see, but also, I mean, 1,400% and almost 1,000% is just higher than what we normally allow for signage.
And I'll also say, if you're concerned about getting this project moving forward beyond the signs, what we can do is just approve the other stuff, and you could come back at a later date for variance. I think that's what we suggested for the North Kansas City.
I don't know that we did. I mean, I thought if you dealt with a case that was over, that you could stay part of it, but I'll defer to council.
That would be a separate application.
That's what I thought. So if you continue the whole case, right, and you go back to the drawing board and come back in 2 weeks or 4 weeks, whenever that can be, with new dimensions for these signs, that might still be above the 200 square feet, but much smaller percentage increase. Then you wouldn't have to file a separate application and incur another fee. So what you could, if you're under a construction crunch and you need to get moving on the rest of this, we could take care of all of it today, and possibly deny your request. That wouldn't preclude you from filing a new application for signage down the road. So what would you like to do? Would you rather us just hear the case today so you can move forward with everything else you have on your plate, and then, because it seems to me, I know I seem to understand what the board's probably going to do here. So, or
So
would
do
you
we.
rather?
Yeah. We understand.
I can't prejudge, right? So.
Do you have guidance, maybe this is staff or BZA members, of how much other school districts have had approved? And do you have to see it to approve it, or can there be a?
There's no administrative approval of this request. The board has to see it.
Okay.
The board, I've been on this board the longest of any person. I was on it and then I came back. So I have seen more school signs than I can count in the 30 now years I've been on this board. It varies, but it is usually not a large percentage. So,
Okay.
I can't give you a percentage, but it's not 1,000%, it's not 500%. I'm not even sure we've approved 200 or 300%. I would have to go back in my mind's eye, but it's not been large.
Would you like to hear public testimony while they consider?
Yes, I just wanted to, yeah. And, ma'am, Diane, are you still
Yes,
there? Okay,
yes.
are you in support or opposition of this?
The Marlboro Coalition is in full support of this. And we are excited to have activity back into that school. I would support a very large sign and 2 signs because they state a presence that space is used and viable because it has been vacant for some time. And they state a presence of viability in our neighborhood. And also because people look from 71 Highway and say, what is that building there? And this establishes a place. So I would support as large a variance of sign size as possible.
We appreciate that, Diane. If they continue this case and you don't want to come back, we've taken your testimony. Is there anyone else who wants to speak on this case?
No,
Okay.
that was only the
All
one.
right.
But before we do that, did you mention your architect is on the
Jacob
call
Croninwet, I promoted
as
him to the
well?
panel.
Do they already have studies that you maybe have explored in the past that we could consider today as an alternative?
Not necessarily a design study,
Okay.
just basically looking from the view of the
Okay.
kind of what Genevieve already pointed out. And then the placement of the sign, you guys probably already see this, it's not above the door or it's to the side. So not necessarily intrusive, and we're just trying to embellish that entry to welcome the kids. So
And that's the problem.
I
It's gone beyond identification. I mean, and I think, it's funny, since I've been on this board for so long, individuals, reliance on Google Maps to find locations has changed how people locate properties than they used to. So it's just, we've got to stay consistent. So.
Okay. I think we can, if we come back with a modified version, that maybe even 2 options, is that
That would
doable?
be great. We
Okay.
love options.
Okay, in 2 weeks, and, I think that would be our choice.
Can we do that? There's a space on the calendar. Okay. All right. So I have a request from the applicant to continue this case to our last meeting in January, which would be the 27th, 25th. 25th of, I'm sorry, 5th of February. Sorry, I'm in January still. Pardon me. Yeah. Do I have a motion?
That with or without fee?
I would
Oh, that
say,
would be part of the motion.
oh, sorry. I'll let the board member decide about the
Sure.
fee.
On docket item 8, case 41, I move that we continue this case until February 25th, without fee.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Ms. Dorf. All in favor? I'm sorry, please call the roll.
Gorns,
Aye.
Mixdorf.
Aye.
Otto.
Aye.
Wright.
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
The motion has been, the case has been continued until our last meeting in February. We'll see you at that time with options. Thanks. Thank you
Thank
all
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate it.
Right.
Okay, now we're going back to number 6. Is that
Docket
correct?
item number 6, yes, is case CD BZA 2025-164, a request to approve a variance to the accessory structure standards in an R1.5 zoning district on about 0.124 acres, generally located at 4145 Forest Avenue. Alec Gustafson is the staff planner for this case, and the applicant is here in person. If you are a member of the public who would like to speak on this case, please raise your hand online or approach the microphone on the podium to be sworn in. We have 3 hands raised online. Are you also speaking on this? So we have 4 hands online. So I'm going to promote Carly Mitchell to panelist, Curtis Wright, Ryan Holt, and Kaylee Wilson. We have 4 people online to testify and 1 person in person.
Okay. All right. Well,
And they're all still.
Six.
So Curtis Wright, you will need to, oh, you are rejoining. Okay. If you could all turn on your cameras and microphones online to be sworn in, and then you can turn them off once you've been sworn in until we get to public testimony.
Okay.
sorry, my computer froze. One moment. Sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. Gentlemen, would each of you please state your name and your address, and then I'll swear you in all at once, and same thing with folks in the audience and online. So let's start with the applicant.
My name is Bill Drummond, 4145 Forest Avenue, KCMO, and I'm the applicant.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. Sir?
John Reese, also known as Jack, 1618 Summit, Kansas City, Missouri, 64108.
And how is Reese spelled? There's multiple spellings.
4-letter word. I'm a 4-letter word.
Okay, you're a 4-letter word. Okay, all right, got it. All right, yes, sir.
Doug Schaefer, property owner at 4134 Forest Avenue, same block as the applicant.
So you're here in support?
I am.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Robbie Bondi. I live at 1203 East 42nd Street.
Okay, and stand there for a second. And then let's move online. I think the first name was Carly. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it Mitchell? Carly, can you state your full name for the record and
Carly
your
Mi-
address?
Carly Mitchell, 4517 Tracy Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, can you state your name, please?
Curtis Wright, 4517 Tracy Avenue.
And are you in here in support or opposition, Mr. Wright?
Opposition.
Okay, and Miss Mitchell, what is your position? Support or opposite?
Opposition.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Holt, can you state your full name, please, and address?
Yeah, Ryan Holt, 4138 Virginia Avenue.
And are you here in support or opposition?
Support.
Okay, and then I think there was a
Kaylee Wilson.
Kaylee Wilson.
Hi, my name is Kaylee Holt, 4138 Virginia Avenue.
Okay, so it's Kaylee Holt, and then are you here in support, Ms. Holt?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Everybody online and present, please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth? So help you God.
I do.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. All right, hands down. Okay, let's hear first from Alec, and then we'll go to the applicant, and then we will talk to people that are here.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, board.
And we're only seeing that on one side.
Yep. Thank you. So before you, we have docket item number 6. It'll show up in a second here.
Yep,
There we go.
yeah, there's.
Docket item number 6. This is CDBZA 2025-164. It's at 4145 Forest Avenue. It's in an R1.5 zoning district, and the request is to approve variances to the accessory structure standards. The site is located in the historic Mannheim Park.
Can I stop you one
Yes.
second? Because I should do this first. Gentlemen, there are some administrative exhibits connected to your case. I got flummoxed because there were so many other people involved, and I apologize. On the final page of the staff report, there's a list of administrative exhibits that number
I didn't
one.
get admitted.
Oh, okay. We'll get back to you, ma'am. Just hold on one
Okay.
second. Okay. We'll hear from you. Gentlemen, to continue, there are 9 exhibits that are connected with the matter. Do you have any objection to my admitting those for the board to consider this morning?
No objection. However, I'd like to submit the recent petitions and letters of support as well. That are all notarized.
Have you?
There are, I believe, 5 or 6 letters of support in Compass KC that you can see that are notarized. But having not seen them myself.
Okay.
In petition as well.
Okay. What exhibit number would that be? Do you want to name them separately? So do you want them all marked as 10 collectively, or do you want them marked separately?
I think it's fine to mark them collectively if they are notarized. I don't have it open, Alec, which.
Can we see them? I mean, he's got a notebook. Do you have more than one copy? Okay,
So
can you hand it to Alec?
I will look at them real quick and make sure that
Okay.
they're not the same as what you already submitted.
I've provided Alec with the originals that are notarized, and I did make 5 copies.
Okay.
Which I'd like to give you all to peruse so that we don't have to try and read the little
That would be
print on the screen.
great once I can confirm that they're all notarized.
Yes.
And ma'am, I haven't forgotten you. Just one moment.
This one is new. You'll have just 3 petitions?
Yes.
Okay, those are the same.
And I did identify everything that I'm offering for evidence today. I already identified last week that we were expecting to have that.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 exhibits that are in Compass KC that are additional notarized letters of support. And then we have a 9th one here that has just been given to us today and was written yesterday,
Okay, and it's notarized.
notarized yesterday.
Okay. And then are there some petitions that are separate from letters? I heard you say?
Yes, there are, well, of those 8 that are on Compass KC, 3 of them are petitions.
Okay, so there are
that are
3
notarized.
petitions and a total of 6
6 letters.
Okay. I am going to mark those 3 petitions and 6 letters collectively as Exhibit 10. And based on your representations, we will admit Exhibit 10 and it can be shared to, the original should be left with council and the copies we can accept up here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then, okay. And then ma'am, I'm sorry, there was a new
Sharita
person.
Williams.
I'm sorry.
Sharita Williams.
Shavita Williams. Ms. Williams, can you hear me?
And I think there was 2 other people that
Yes,
raised
I can
their
hear
hand. Mr. Jose Zayas and Miss Diane Charity.
Okay, let's start
Okay.
with Ms. Williams first. Ms. Williams, can you state your name and your address?
Sharita Williams, 4412 Paseo Boulevard, but I also represent the Mannheim Garden at 4229 Forest. I am the president of that garden.
Okay, Ms. Williams, I'm going to just do this out once. Would you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay,
And
there are 2 additional people who have raised their hand.
Okay.
So I'm one last call, please. If anyone else would like to speak on this case, if you could please raise your hand so we could get everyone sworn in. So Diane Charity and Jose Zayas are,
All right, I'm sorry, say those names one more time.
Diane Charity
Okay.
and Jose Zayas. You could please turn on your cameras and microphones to be sworn in.
Ms. Charity, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, can you state your full name and address, please?
Diane Charity, 1331 East 43rd Street, apartment D209.
And would you raise your hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Are you here in support or opposition?
Opposition.
Thank you. Mr. Diaz?
Zayas.
I'm sorry, Diaz?
Zayas.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. Sir, can you hear me? Can you state your full name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Jose Zayas, and I live at 4510 Tracy Avenue.
And are you here in support or opposition?
Opposition.
And would you raise your hand to be sworn?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Anyone else? Have we missed anybody else?
There are no other hands raised online.
And Robbie, are you here in support or opposition? Thank you. I just want to make sure that I have people noted. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, so we're good. Okay, fair enough. All right, let's, as soon as Alec can reseat himself, we'll get started. So we'll hear from Alec. So everybody that just got on, we're going to hear from Alec with the city's presentation. We'll then go to the applicant, and then all the individuals that are here in either support or opposition, will give each of you a chance to speak, okay? All right, Alec, go ahead. I've got it.
Okay, so we have docket item number 6. This is CD BZA 2025-164 at 4145 Forest Avenue in an R1.5 zoning district. It's a request to approve variances to the accessory structure standards in a residential zoning district. The property is located in the historic Mannheim Park Neighborhood Association. You can see it's on Forest Avenue and East 42nd Street and in an R1.5 zoning district. Here's a view of the property as of, I believe that's maybe March 2020. Google Street View. I didn't put the label on there, but this is Google Street View. And then here is the accessory structure in question. It is a four-car garage on East 42nd Street that exists on the property line adjacent to the sidewalk. We'll get into a little bit of case history. This property has received a couple violations. It received violations in May of 2021, stating that the property is an eyesore with unresolved violations for accessory structure being in disrepair, no paint on the accessory structure, the walls of the accessory structure in disrepair, overgrown ruins of the property, and unimproved storage on the site. And then in 2025, there was a building permit applied for, which was not approved due to this variance application needing to be taken forward. Later, there was another dangerous buildings case opened in June of 2025, citing that the deteriorating garage with no roof. And then in just yesterday, there was a permit compliance case opened on the site, citing the garage as a dangerous building. So this is just some images from some of those cases. This is the NPD case that was opened, citing unapproved storage. This is just some of it, just some of tires that are not allowed to be stored in a residential zoning district. And then there were images from the dangerous buildings case as well, which is, I believe, from the interior of the garage with no roof. And then just items in there. This is also from that dangerous buildings case after the garage, I believe, had been deteriorating. You can see inside the property. And then this is another structure, image from that dangerous buildings case. You can see underneath the garage door up, you can tell that there is no roof on the garage, basically functioning as just a facade as of right now. This is from the permit case, or this is from the compliance case that shows more deterioration of the garage. It's no longer truly necessarily a structure, more so a facade. This is plans provided by Mr. Drummond, showing that the garage is on the property line. There is no setback, and the garage is 830 square feet. It also shows the impervious surface area, which does not actually need variances. However, we are looking at the garage and the setback of the accessory structure. These are plans provided by Mr. Drummond for the garage. This is the facade showing the garage as you can see it from the street view. These are preliminary plans provided by Mr. Drummond. Some more plans. And we'll go to our variance requests. The variance location to the accessory structure in a residential zoning district. The garage sits past the principal building line in the rear yard of the subject site per the submitted plans. So this would be a complete deviation. Accessory structures are not permitted to sit past the building line in the street side yard. So that's being a complete deviation. A substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is anticipated. Then there are no other garages that sit past the primary building line in the rear yard or the side yard within immediate context area per Google Street View and parcel viewer spot checking. And can the difficulty be obviated by some feasible method other than a variance? Since the accessory structure is in such a state of disrepair and is noted as a dangerous building by previous related cases, the certificate of legal nonconforming use status of the building is no longer valid. So variances must be sought in order to rebuild the structure to what it was. The difficulty could be obviated by moving the garage further back and providing that it's within the rear yard and the side yard setback, or setback by 15 feet. These variances are not saying that he cannot have an accessory garage, just that if it's going to be rebuilt, it should be rebuilt back to the standards that we hold in our zoning code. And then variance B is a variance of 30 square feet to the footprint area of an accessory structure in a residential district to permit a total accessory structure building footprint of 830 square feet on the subject site. This is a 30-foot variation in relation to the requirement of 800 square feet. So the substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is the same. There are no other garages that are larger than the permitted detached garage building footprint size of 800 square feet within immediate context area per Google Street View and parcel viewer spot checking. And again, since the accessory structure is in a state of disrepair and is noted as a dangerous building by all the previous related cases, the certificate of legal nonconforming use is no longer valid and variances must be sought. The difficulty could be obviated by rebuilding the garage to be 30 square feet smaller so that it meets the 800 square foot requirement. And with that, that concludes my presentation, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Alec. Any questions for Alec from board members? Okay, then Mr. Drummond and crew, let's hear from you. Why should the board grant these two variances?
Thank you. I believe you should grant the variances because what I'm attempting to do is restore the look of an old building in the neighborhood. And that does fit it within the context and the character of the neighborhood. And specifically, I want it to be a large building, the same size as what it is now. When I originally applied for my plan through planning department, one of their needs was that I do not enlarge or reduce the size of the building. I am not against reducing the size. That is not a hangup for me at all. But at the time I was seeking a plan permit, I was informed that if you rebuild or repair a structure, you can't enlarge or reduce it and meet the building code as what I was seeking. So I stayed with the footprint of the building as it is. However, I am under no obligation to make it as large as that. I would be very happy to reduce the size. That settles that part of the issue for me. I want the outside, though, to appear the same as what it does now. Why? Is because when the house was built and that garage was built, it was typical for owners to have their vehicle parking garages exactly where mine is. So all I'm doing is recreating the same situation that is our legacy of our neighborhood. And some of my, you'll see in my presentation, which I can start with at any time, you'll see in my presentation that there's actually a house in the neighborhood a couple of blocks away that has a large garage right on the property line, just like mine. And in my surveying of the area, within a half a mile, there's 14 other houses where their detached accessory building, their garages, are on a property line. So I'm not asking for anything from outer space here.
Let me just, this presentation we're about to see,
Yes,
it
ma'am.
needs to be admitted, correct?
Yes, it does.
This will be exhibit number 11, I believe. We will admit it. Go ahead, Mr.
I thank
Drummond.
you for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
My PowerPoint presentation will encompass everything that I was wanting to relay to you. And I'm going to split it down into the three topic areas. One, why I want to do what I'm doing. Two, how I would do it. And Mr. Reese would speak to that. And then why it fits within the context and the character of the neighborhood, I'm going to let my friend and neighbor Doug speak to. So let's.
You have the flash drive.
Oh, okay. All right. While he's getting that up and rolling. Yeah, my concept is I want to keep the facade the way I want it to look from the street the same way. However, from the backside and the interior of the building, I would like to promote the idea of it being a modern multi-use building, a greenhouse, a garage, a workspace. I'm an artist. It'd be nice if I had a space to do my artwork in as well. So I'm promoting a new iteration of the old building, whereas from the street and what the public would see is the old building. They wouldn't see a modern, new anything. And so that's why I'm coming to you today.
How long has that garage in that configuration and that location been there?
100 years. And that is, ma'am, I got to say, at no point have I denied its bad condition. In fact, one of my citations I'd like to give you all in advance is that I am working with the city. I work with codes, illegal dumping, solid waste. Let's see, what else? The court, I'm in court action. I'll have to be in court tomorrow on this matter, and they'll be looking at what you all decide. Dangerous buildings. And on that point of it being a dangerous building, it is. It is only a facade right now. However, it's stabilized. Let's talk about that dangerous building just for 30 seconds. I was cited as a dangerous building in the summertime of this year, of last year, 2025. But there has not been any reopening of that case. It's the same case. Yeah. So today, and I appreciate Alec bringing that up, because at no point in my interactions with the city have I said, no, that's not true, or it's wrong. I fully understand the character of this building and its desperate condition it's in, 100-year-old deterioration. I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to completely rebuild it using modern materials, modern construction technique, and it'll be to code, and it will conform to everything that the planning department is requiring me to do.
So show us what you were planning so we can understand, because we do have limited time.
Okay.
I do have a quick question. How long have you owned the property, sir?
I've been there 13 years. I lived in the area since 15 years, but my house I bought 13 years ago.
Okay, let's see what you're proposing.
I'm going to go quick.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, it's just that we do have time and we've gotten a little behind today.
All right. That's it. All right, that's the garages now. That's how it looks from the street. Next slide, please. And again, you already have this introduced. It's my current distances and stuff. What's notable about this is it fits already within the planning requirements that an accessory structure has to be less than 40% of the back of your property area. Right. Next. And those are my talking points there. Built by the history of it. It was built by the original Cadillac dealership owner in Kansas City. And he literally built the garages to accommodate 4 of his vehicles. And you can kind of tell the wealth of an area by their garages. So I was kind of upper middle class garage. And then building deteriorated over the years, and I was given an order to demolish or repair by dangerous buildings. And that's where I'm at right now. If I were to demolish it, it actually would be more expensive for me and create a true eyesore in the neighborhood because of the requirements for infill housing. I could only build a 4-foot fence around what would have been that same garage. And I guarantee you, any neighbor who doesn't like the way my property has looked in the past, they're going to be treated to quite the eyesore if I don't have a garage facade there. I do work in community. Part of my work is neighborhood cleanups. And all the debris and such that you've seen in these previous pictures, much of that is debris that we literally cleaned in the neighborhood and put on a property next to my property, and then was read the riot act by solid waste that we can't put our debris on a property. And so we haven't done that since we had to work with solid waste. My opposite number in solid waste is Robert Woods, who's in charge of community cleanups and such like that. Finally, okay, this is my vision here. You're looking at it from the inside out. It's a greenhouse. The roof is made out of polycarbonate, the same material that industrial greenhouses are made out of. It's an inch thick material. It's actually stronger than conventional roofing and would be fully supported according to the standards of what's called greenhouse glazing or greenhouse roofing. So, and Jack will speak to that as well. Continue, please. Okay, now we're into the technical, so I'd like to hand it off to Jack really quick.
Go ahead, sir.
So the idea is not to use the facade that's existing to support the new building. The idea is to support the new building on a series of columns and the glazing support on the columns and then refresh or to some degree rebuild the facade in such a way that it preserves the character of the facade. I understand and respect the idea of rules and zoning in this case, but I think I think diversity is also part of what makes our urban neighborhoods rich. And since there are precedents for 0 lot line garages in the neighborhood, I would encourage the committee to consider allowing Bill to rebuild the garage in its current configuration.
Let me ask you a question. So if the front facade is not holding up the structure and you have this new structure to hold it up, why could you not bring the building back? Because if the facade is free, can't you just move the whole building back a few feet and get it a little further back?
Well, I think you could move the building back, but if you notice, the lot is very narrow. It's an old, it's an old Midtown lot. And you certainly could not manage a setback of 15 feet, which is the legal requirement.
I see.
Or it can be set back up to the side building line.
It's like whichever lesser.
It's whichever is lesser.
So what distance would that be, Alec? Just so that we can have that conversation. Because really, I think your neighbors, everybody on this board is excited that you want to rebuild this and fix this. So I think that front build line is a primary issue or concern. So how many feet are we talking?
On a very rudimentary just measurement from parcel viewer, it's 5 feet.
Okay, so if you moved it 5 feet, how would that affect the rear setback?
So they would be in compliance of if they move the garage back 5 feet, they would be in line with the house and therefore be in compliance with that standard saying that on corner lots, accessory structures must be set back to the property line of the house or to the line of the house and the rear setback or 15 feet or less.
And could you remind me what the accessory structure setbacks are? Off the top of my head, I believe it's 1.5 feet. Is that correct?
1.5 feet from side property lines.
Okay, so that wouldn't be an issue if it were moved back 5 feet.
No, the only thing though is that if they were to move the garage back, they currently would have then a facade essentially acting as a fence, which if I'm not mistaken, some of those other cases that we've had in the past have looked at it as a fence. It would be tall and it would be essentially just blocking the property.
Yes, that's my question. Can't you just loosen the facade and move it back 5 feet, sir?
Well, I would make an economic argument, which is to move it back 5 feet would I think necessitate pouring concrete for the 5 feet to make an access to the garage. And then of course, rebuilding the facade from scratch. Both of those would be considerably more expensive than essentially repairing the facade that's there.
If I'm not mistaken, there is already concrete there, though.
There, yeah. That's why I'm looking at the photograph. Yes, go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry. No, you were saying something and he was saying something and I didn't get both.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, there is concrete there, is there not?
So,
So they wouldn't need to be pouring any
Okay.
concrete.
Right, so that, yeah, you could just take the front facade, move it back 5 feet, and you could still have your greenhouse garage concept behind it.
so Bill tells me that he would be fine with that, and there's no constructional reason why we can't do that.
Okay, all right, so what's left?
That makes our life a lot easier.
What would be left is the 830 square feet.
Yeah.
If they were to just take the whole structure as a whole and move it back 5 feet, you'd still be left with 830 square feet. But taking it back 5 feet and not moving the rear of that the detached garage, you'd be taking 5 feet off of the front of it.
Yeah.
So,
And this building has been here for 100 years. It's
Yeah.
not like it's new to the neighborhood, but
I'm not standing on historical grounds here. I'm just saying that, yeah, and nor do I want to recreate the past. I'm just saying it has worked well to shield my neighbor's view from the many things that I have done on behalf of the neighborhood. So I'm that's my primary interest here.
okay. So board members, do you have questions? Because I'd like to hear from the opposition to see what pieces or parts of this they're opposed to, because it seems like the applicant is being somewhat amenable to some changes. So let's start with internal witnesses. Robbie, would you come up? Again, and just for the court reporter, state your name real quick.
Yes, Robbie Bondi.
Thank you, Mr. Bondi. Go ahead and tell us your position.
Okay, so I'm in opposition. I live right across 42nd Street from that property. I understand that property is in Bill's name. It seems to just be a storage location for materials and trash from the neighborhood and elsewhere. I work from home as a greenhouse engineer. We actually build and design greenhouses on a commercial scale all across the country. So I'm actually very familiar with some of these materials that he's proposing for this greenhouse. I'm also an active member in the Mannheim Neighborhood Association, as well as the Mannheim Community Garden. The community garden is also a neighbor of mine right next door and is also across the street from 42nd Street. So we're very familiar with Mr. Drummond. We're also very familiar with this property. Eyesore is a nice, succinct way to put it. My problem is that when I look at this and I show my friends and my neighbors, not just that facade property of the property, but also the contents, not just in the backyard, but what's also visible inside the house just from the street. My problem is that I don't feel safe recommending people walk next to it on the sidewalk, go around it. Like currently there's been a pile of trash on that sidewalk. I don't know if you can really even walk safely through the house itself. I don't believe anyone is living in the house currently, or there is running water on property. All these different issues that I have mainly point to the nature that this property is kept towards. I'm sorry, the status this property is kept at. It's in disarray since I moved into this house, into my house in the end of 2021. That status has not changed. Let me see. I mentioned everything. Yes, normally I would vote to approve something like this, being a greenhouse professional, being a gardener, and also being a neighborhood member. But for these reasons, I just don't think that even if he is to change this facade, build a greenhouse, I don't think it's actually going to be kept up to these standards.
Okay, I think I understand. So you're not opposed to reconstruction, but you have concerns. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's hear from, let's go to Carly Mitchell. You're in opposition. What's your position, Ms. Mitchell?
Thank you so much. And I also echo Robbie's concerns.
I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Drummond 2 years ago, in which he stated that he was working on this very thing 2 years ago, and it has not come to fruition yet. It is a concern. My daughter's bus stop was on his corner, and the district actually came out and moved her bus stop because it was dangerous for her to be on the bus stop there. And I'm a mental health professional. I just believe in integrity. Mr. Douglas Schaefer that is there, he does not live in the neighborhood. He stated his address is 4134 Forest, but he no longer lives in that home. And I agree with Robbie that if it was going to come to fruition, 1,000% support it. However, Mr. Drummond's integrity in the neighborhood hasn't been of such. He is banned from the garden. There's an order of protection. 4327, have the case number for that, and that is where we have our neighborhood meetings at. So he is no longer involved in the neighborhood. And so of course, we would love to have an asset in the neighborhood as such. However, Mr. Bill has not been integral, and it does make me sad because that would be beautiful, but also the trust is not there with the neighborhood, with the integrity of Mr. Drummond, as well again as Mr. Schaefer, who no longer lives in the neighborhood. And I deeply oppose it. Again, my daughter's bus stop had to be moved because it was concerning building. It's dilapidated, and he's been there for 13 years. And to Robbie's point, there's no running water. He doesn't even live there. He stays elsewhere. And so that is why I oppose it.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Mr. Wright, let's hear from you.
Good morning, and thank you for your time, Curtis Wright. I'm actually the president of Manheim Neighborhood Association.
Okay.
And so there are several challenges that came up from the property from neighbors who are in the area more approximate. One of them is the trash that have been there for years. There was even the way that I even got roped in was there was an inspector who called me a week or two ago and said that there was trash that was all up and down that was connected to Bill actually dumping it there. So he says that he has relationship with solid waste and all these things, but I'm getting calls from neighbors as well as city employees stating that there is trash right now as we speak that is coming from the facade. And I think that's a very interesting word that we're using because this whole thing is a facade. I think that my challenge is if he's had this property for so long, why would it not have been done already? Why are we just at this point looking for? And the challenge is we've also had several developers in the area who have set on properties. I've been in contact with several of them. They're not cleaning up these properties, and the folks who actually live here has to suffer. That's not fair to the residents. There are elderly folks who are at several complexes, multi generational complexes there who can't go down that sidewalk. So I'm concerned that there's a plan that is submitted and then nothing will come into fruition. I think it's beautiful that Bill wants to do this. The challenge is it actually going to be done? And that means also the current upkeep of your property as a whole. So I'm really curious as to how a person who has not kept up on their own property now has the funds and bandwidth and resources to actually build an entirely new structure when this one is already dilapidated and has several notices and fines and violations from from the city's departments. And to Bill's credit, Bill has done a lot of stuff in Manheim neighborhood. No, I'm not negating any of those things. The challenge is Bill has done things based under his own rules. And as a result of that, it not only has affected poorly the neighbors here, but it's also now coming home to affect him and how he's actually trying to get anything accomplished to be progressive.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to Ms. Williams. Let's hear
Good
from you.
afternoon, board and everyone in attendance. My name is Sharita Williams. I serve as Vice President of the Neighborhood Association, President of Manheim Garden Conservancy. I am the Director of the Kansas Farmers Union Board, and I am a Master Gardener Emeritus. I would first like to say kudos to Bill. He has done a lot of great things in the neighborhood. I have lived in this neighborhood for over 20 years since my home was built. So I think I have a lot of experience in the neighborhood. First, I would like to say that this property has multiple open code cases. I think that we all know that. Okay. Open dangerous building case, long-standing property violations. There were numerous there. Okay. My first knowledge of this garage situation came from back in 2019 from neighbors complaining. I was president in 2019. I cannot tell you how many complaints that I was getting from neighbors back to back to back, calling me, complaining to me, what are you going to do about Bill's property? So much so that I almost wanted to change my phone number. It's my understanding that the city got on him at some point in time, wanting him to cure or demolish. Okay. So before any type of variance or anything like that be considered, we respectfully ask that this be resolved or cured. Okay. I think there's an issue going on here that no one is addressing, that there may be some type of hoarding issue. Okay. As we all know, when you have piles and piles and piles of trash, that brings mice, rats, brown recluses, and entry points for groundhogs and raccoons. And that affects everyone around you, including Mannheim Gardens, okay, which we don't like. We don't like those cousins. So that's an issue. And there's also the issue, which I haven't seen entered into the record, is there the capacity and the financial stability to take on this project? I heard this grand plan, but there's 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026 is the magic year that this is going to happen. It hasn't happened all those other years. What's different in 2026? So I hear this plan, but where's the ability to carry it out? I don't see that in the record. So I want to know, where's that at in the record that this plan is affordable, can be done? I don't see a planting plan or anything like that for this greenhouse garage workshop, and that it can be afforded because it hasn't been done all these years. So I recommend no.
Okay.
From the garden and as a neighbor and the neighborhood, because it hasn't been done in all this time, and all these other violations that are open and haven't been done. And also with the cleanups, the city, the neighborhoods department, we regularly get a dumpster. And for some reason, all that trash on the side of the house doesn't end up in said dumpster. And the property's been an eyesore for some time. So I think some other things need to be in place before this is considered and moves forward.
Okay. And Ms. Williams, thank you. Just, I need to move people along here. So thank you very much. Let's hear from Ms. Charity.
Good afternoon. My
Yes.
name is Diane Charity. I am past president of Mannheim, Historic Mannheim Neighborhood, and I'm president of KC Tenants. I just wanted to say I am in total opposition to Mr. Drummond's proposal. Mr. Drummond has been the bane of our existence here in this neighborhood. I've been here since 2014, and the disruptions and the absolute misery that he's put the neighbors through, even at the board meetings or at neighborhood meetings, is just absolutely atrocious. I'm opposing anything that dumping that he does throughout the neighborhood is just no. I just can't see it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Charity. Mr. Zayas?
Yes, hi, Jose Zayas. I am a concerned neighbor. My opposition is pretty much an echo of what everybody else has said. I do not necessarily oppose the building of a greenhouse. I think that would be frankly awesome for the neighborhood. My problem is questioning the character and integrity of Bill in terms of it's been over 4 years now since the violation started, at least to my knowledge. I've been in the neighborhood since 2022. And frankly, I just want to say, why not? Let's start by cleaning it up, and then you can ask for anything else. But first, let's clean up that corner. Let's clean up that house. Let's make sure it's up to standards, and then move on to whatever else we want to do in the neighborhood. That's at least my point.
Thank you, Mr. Zayas. Okay, I want to hear we have a couple people in support. I want to hear from them real quick, and then we'll go back to the applicant. I think there's a Ryan and a Kaylee Holt, which one of you wants to speak first? Ryan, are you there?
Yeah,
Ryan,
I can
yeah.
speak first. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. So as far as so my wife and my wife's Kaylee, we're actually new to the neighborhood. We're building on a lot there right now. I work construction. And Bill's done a lot to help us just to get through planning, and he's helped us clean up trash and other things around our yard. But as far as the building goes itself, I don't think it necessarily changes the character or the context of the neighborhood. And it doesn't enlarge or reduce the footprint. So from the building standpoint, I think it'd be good to revitalize it and rebuild it and create a nice looking structure in the area. So.
Okay, thank you. Kaylee?
Hi, yeah, like Ryan said, we don't live there yet. We're just building right now. We're not familiar with all. It seems like there's been some history there that we're not familiar with. So what we know of Bill is he's been very helpful. He's been helping us, along the process of getting our building permits, helping us with the city council members, things like that. He's been very good. And again, not familiar with the history, and I'm not familiar with how the lot has existed in the past, but just based on his proposed plans, I do think it's a good idea to fix up that spot. I think in theory it's a great idea. It can make the area look more beautiful, fit within the context, and overall improve the neighborhood. So we're just here to support the idea of it. Sounds like it does sound like a great plan.
Thank you. All right, and then the last person in support was Mr. Schaefer. Do you want him to talk now, or do you want to have him talk?
Yes, while he's talking, can I just roll the credits, as it were? The remainder of my presentation
That's fine.
pertains
Yeah.
to what he is saying.
That's fine.
So you can watch what he is saying.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Mr. Schaefer.
Doug Schaefer, just trying to remind the board that when I introduced myself, I said I owned 4134 Forest Avenue. I also own other vacant land on the same physical block as this structure. You have my testimony in your packet, and one-page letter that credentials myself with respect to my knowledge about the neighborhood, real estate broker, very active in the neighborhood. I know the neighborhood and the structures and so on very well. And my point about the structure is that it fits right in with the neighborhood character, which I call eclecticism. There's just a little bit of everything in our neighborhood. Fits in, a structure like this would fit in just fine. So I'm completely in support of rebuilding the structure instead of having yet another vacant lot that's so small that nobody will likely build on it for 50 years.
So, Mr. Drummond, in theory, I think what you're proposing has some merits, but what I've heard in the testimony since you began is that your property is in a state of disrepair and there might be a lot of trash on it. So what is your plan to clean that off the property? Like, what's the timeline? I need to know that before I issue a vote.
Very good. I can give you that in a nutshell, but I'd also like to then rebut some of the.
And I'll give you a chance, but let's answer my question
Okay.
first.
Your question is timeline. I want to do this ASAP, and the materials, the majority of the materials that are on site right now are for this construction. They were there for the reconstruction of the existing facade, but now that I'm seeking out a variance and cooperating with the idea of a smaller footprint and more setback, those materials are for building that structure. It's glass, it's wood, it's concrete, it's tile block. All the such stuff that you need to build a building are on my property already. Now, in my rebuttal, I'll point out how that's misinterpreted as hoarding. So the stuff that is there now that has caused issue in the past is gone. I have no open code cases on illegal storage or, let's see, what are the other codes cases that I've had in the past?
There are three
Are there
three
still,
cases in
Yeah.
violation still.
and
Yeah.
they're still in open? So
Yeah,
that,
and
that's,
those three cases are all about the building. They're not illegal dumping or any of that.
They cite unapproved storage,
yeah,
but they
so that,
also cite the building.
yeah, sorry, Alec, didn't mean to interrupt. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Drummond,
Thank you, Alec.
my concern is that you've got a lot of stuff stacked
Mhm.
around this property
Yep.
and that's illegal storage. And so if this board would approve your request
Mhm.
and you go to court tomorrow, they may say you got to take all that off your property because,
They've already said that.
okay, so what are you going to do with it?
Well, the building materials I'll put into a better situation than they are now. Right now, it's all helter-skelter. I've commingled so much stuff. It's a freaking mess. So I'm not denying it's in bad condition, storage-wise. However, my primary stock of materials is compliant with building code. Has to be so high off the ground, and what the phrase is, in neat, orderly condition. That is the main majority of what I've got there is in orderly and off the ground. And so I am being cited by codes right now for the condition of the building. That's what's in play here. And the judge won't settle that until he hears from me whether I can do what I've proposed to do. And he's been very flexible with me and very patient. And when this first came up, he said, "You got to rebuild or tear down the structure." I said, "Yes, sir." And at that point, he gave me enough time to go through the planning department and get the building permit. Planning said, "No, you can't do it without a zoning variance." So that's what brings me here today.
All right, so you've agreed that we don't need the building line variance. What's the last variance?
That's the square footage.
Square footage, okay. So I think the board he wants to rebuild, right? The city court, or I'm sorry, the state court is going to, or the municipal court.
It's municipal.
Yeah, it's the municipal court. It's going to handle the issue on the property, right? That's not this board's jurisdiction. And he would have a limited time to build this new structure because our permitting process allows, 2 years for him to pull the permits and build it. So that is what the code allows. It's my understanding.
That's correct.
So I'm just saying the things that the board has in their consideration. And he's also said that he'd build the building within the square feet that's allowed at the beginning. So
I think the neighbors' concerns are about property maintenance and heard. Completely understand that. I've said it before on other cases, but this board can do certain things. We can't make people be good neighbors. And in particular, property maintenance is not in the jurisdiction of this board. But what we have in front of us is two questions. Can it be as close to the street as it is? And can it be as large as it is proposed? I've heard verbal statements from the applicant that he can remediate both of those without the variances. So as one board member, my personal vote would be denial.
is that a motion, Mr. Hayes?
I can make a motion.
Okay.
I would like to quickly jump in and say, would you address the facade still existing, or are we talking about moving the facade back?
So what I hear from the applicant is that he's open to moving the facade back to be a compliant distance. So if he moves that facade back to be a compliant distance and constructs a structure behind that is within the 800 square foot allowed in a accessory structure, then he can meet the code all without any sort of variances.
I will say as well, if they if they move the facade back, but then build a building behind that facade, that could be seen as two structures on the lot, and therefore be in violation of the separation distance for structures, accessory structures, which would be concern for fire hazards and things like that. So the facade would need to be a physical part of the building, not just sitting next to it.
Right, you don't want a fence. So I mean, that's the problem with the square foot request. If it's not matching the facade, then you've created a little bit of an issue.
I didn't mean to, when I was speaking of a separation between the structure that we were going to build and the facade, that was from a strictly structural point of view. And I think as this thing got repositioned, I mean, there's no question that the facade is going to be of a piece with the structure and not a separate, not a separate structure.
But if the facade is longer than the building, then, you know, I guess it could get less deep, but then
Yeah, it
it's
could
not
get
really
less
a
deep.
garage anymore, right? So anyway.
I'll make a
Mr.
motion.
Go ahead.
On docket item 6, case 160, docket item 6, case 164, I move that we deny the applicant's request.
I have a motion from Mr. Hayes. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Ms. Mixdor. Please call the roll.
Gorens, Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Nay.
Wright,
Nay.
Hayes.
Aye.
So that motion fails. Is there another motion that could be made? Not the case will also denied based on the fact that there's not a vote, but I always offer this. Is there a second motion that anybody would want? Yeah, but we have to have 4.
I heard only 2 yeses.
Only 2.
The motion to deny, there were 2 ayes from Mixdorf and Hayes.
There were 3 nays.
3 nays,
Yeah.
right.
No other motions?
I had a question more so from my own understanding regarding the variance. Are we seeing the facade as a facade, or is it the accessory structure based on variance A?
Could you clarify that? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it might be a question for staff. Is the
Yes.
facade a facade, or is it a accessory structure based off how variance A is worded?
So if the facade is attached to the accessory structure that they're proposing to build, it would be a part of that accessory structure. If it's not attached, it would be considered, it wouldn't necessarily even be considered a fence. I would probably say it's more so an accessory structure.
Well, and the applicant has also indicated that they want to rebuild this as an accessory structure.
Okay.
So the facade would be a part of that accessory structure, moved
Is it
back by 5 feet.
possible to make a motion that in denying of
Yeah,
in denying of variance A, it is to be understood that that facade is the accessory structure with the notion that they're agreeing to move it back 5 feet to be in compliance?
yes, it would be a motion to deny the variance that the facade with the condition, you can't condition a
Yeah, with
variance,
the
but
condition, yeah.
saying that you would like them to move that facade back 5 feet and make it the front facing, the street facing wall of the accessory structure.
Yeah, street facing.
Okay. While also denying variance B,
Yes.
that the structure be 800 square feet rather than 830 square feet.
If we're denying, we can't really condition
Right,
anything, but
yeah.
we could just make a suggestion.
Make a suggestion on the record, I guess.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. I think all you can do with the variance say is deny it. If they then come forward with a permit that facade becomes a part of the new structure, then that's for city staff to determine in the
Yes.
permitting process if that will be allowed. I think you just have to deny it. That's one board member's opinion. And then you'd have to deal with variance B, which is the size issue.
Which, to remind, the applicant has stated he's willing to
I understand.
build it.
I understand. Yes, Mr. Drummond, one more time, and then we got to vote.
I do appreciate you giving me an ear. Absolutely deny me if I can just trot right on over to planning and get rolling on a single building that meets all requirements.
I think your confusion may have lied in the fact that if you wanted to retain the current position of it
Yeah.
without a variance or anything,
Yeah.
you would not you can't make a major reconstruction. You're past the point of a major reconstruction. So you can change the square footage of the building. That's fine. Correct me if I'm wrong, staff, but
That's correct.
All right, Mr. Drummond, let me make sure really clear before I ask this board to vote one more time, okay? Because we had a motion and it failed because I think there's some confusion. But I want to clear this up because we're going to try this one more time. Is it your position? I want a yes or no to this question. Is it your position, Mr. Drummond, that you are in support of a complete tear down of this structure, not saving the facade, and going forward and building a new structure within the city's ordinances and setbacks? Is that your position?
Yes.
All right, let's have a new motion.
On docket item 6, case 164, I move that we deny the request.
Do I have a second for Mr. Hayes' motion?
Second.
I have a second from Ms. Mixdorf. Please call the roll.
Gorens,
Aye.
Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
The request has been denied. You may go forth and build a code compliant structure and clean up the property. Okay? Thank you,
I
gentlemen. And
appreciate
thank
all
you
of
to
your
everyone
time.
online and in person today.
Can I have
Right.
some clarity on what the timeline for that new structure will be?
Yeah.
Again, a permit is issued at the permit is issued once they apply. I don't know. So we don't deal with that.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Does the board want to continue and finish up the cases, or do you want
You
to
have
launch?
one
break?
left.
Okay. All right, let's do it. Let's move to docket number 9.
Docket item number 9 is case CD BZA 2026-6. A request to approve a variance to the required street side yard setback to allow for a rear deck on the subject site plus any additional variances on about 0.3 acres generally located at 4200 East 61st Street. Liz Collins is the staff planner for this case. And we have the applicant, Jason Hansen, online. I'll promote him to panelist. If you are a member of the public who would like to speak on this case, if you would please raise your hand online to be sworn in. We have no other hands raised online.
Good morning.
I'm sorry. Okay. And sir, I'm sorry. Can you state your name, please?
Yeah, good morning. This is Jason Hansen with Momentum Architecture.
And Mr. Hansen, can you give me your address?
16036 Meadow Lane in Stillwell.
Thank you. Can you please raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And you're here on behalf of the applicant, correct?
Yes.
And you said, Ms. Copeland, there was no one else online, correct?
There are no other hands raised.
And it
online.
doesn't appear that there's anyone else here in the hearing chamber room. So, Mr. Hansen, have you had a chance to review the staff report that's connected to the application?
I was sent the report this morning. Yes, just
Okay.
briefly.
My
Seems-
question is specifically about the page 7 of the report, where there's a list of 9 administrative exhibits that are connected to the case. Do you have any objection to my admitting those for the board to consider this afternoon?
No objection.
Okay, those 9 exhibits are admitted. Let's first hear from Liz in the presentation, and then Mr. Hansen will hear from you. Go ahead.
All right, before you, we have docket item number 9, CDBZA 2026-00006, which is located at 4200 East 61st Street and is currently zoned R6. The applicant is seeking to obtain a variance to the required street side and front setbacks to allow for a rear deck and a covered porch on the subject site. So here is a map showing the general location of the site. It is just north of Swope Park. And here is a closer look at the property. As you can see where the building currently stands, it is just right at the street side property line. So here are some photos sent in from the applicant before of the property in question. And here is how the property currently looks after a different construction team did some renovations to the house before the applicant picked up the project. So there you can see the new covered porch. The concrete slab was there originally, but the roof is new. And then here's some more photos. On the left-hand side, you can see a before of the deck in the rear. It was much smaller, but the stairs went down towards the street side versus the new deck that has been constructed, which is much bigger, but the stairs now go the opposite direction. So variance request in A is for a variance of 12.1 feet to the lot and building standards to permit a 2.9 foot street side setback on the subject site per the approved site plan. This is an 81% change to the required 15-foot setback. However, a substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is not anticipated. As this new deck replaces the older one at the rear of the house, and while it is larger in size, staff is not expected to create a substantial detriment to nearby properties. The difficulty could have been avoided if a building permit had been obtained prior to construction, and additionally, the difficulty could have been avoided in a change in design. Or variance request B is for the front porch, a variance of 10.5 feet to the infill front setback to permit a 14.5 foot front setback on the subject site per the approved site plan. This is a 42% change to the required 25-foot setback. But again, a substantial change to the character of the neighborhood is not anticipated. As I mentioned earlier, the covered porch was built on a pre-existing slab of concrete. Thus, the roof is the only new aspect of the front porch. Again, this difficulty could have been avoided with a building permit obtained prior to construction, or it could have been avoided by a change in design. So for the variance review criteria A, whether or not this denial of this variance would result in an unnecessary hardship. The dwelling was built on the property in 1912 before the city established zoning ordinances in 1923. So the building as it stands is legally non-conforming because it was built before there was a side setback there. However, it is the addition of the deck and the front porch are what triggered the need for both of the setback variances. However, the requested variances do not extend into the required setbacks any more than the existing building footprint, so it's not going any further past what's already there. Review criteria B is that the variance is generally consistent with all relevant purposes of the zoning code. Again, this is looking at the infill standards, just making sure that additions that are made to existing buildings are built to the physical character of the neighborhood. And review criteria C is that the variance will result in substantial justice being done for both the public and the individual. Approval of this variance will allow the applicant to file the proper building permits and finish the work left on this project, which will benefit the neighborhood as it'll be finished. Denial will force the applicant to remove the roof over the front porch and the entirety of the rear deck. And that is the end of my presentation. I'll take any questions.
Thanks. Any questions for Liz? All right, Mr. Hanson, let's hear from you. Why should the board grant this request?
Good morning, actually, good afternoon now. Thanks, guys, for staying a little extra for the bypassing your lunch. I'm the architect representing the owners, Bruce and Gail Beatty, for the property at the 4200 East 61st. As Liz pointed out, the home was constructed in 1912, well before the zoning codes were put into effect. And again, the request is just for alignment of the new back deck. That was, the owners had hired some contractors and 2 times hired contractors in good faith, and they took their money and ran, unfortunately. And this is the 3rd contractor who has started the work, or maybe it was the 2nd contractor that started the work without a permit, and before the work order was put on, and I was brought on to help make sure everyone's crossing their T's and dotting their I's. Again, the hardships pretty much physical to the state of the house, positioning of the house to the property lines. And we believe that the character of the additions, the front porch adds to the character and helps maintain the character of the neighborhood. And the owners just want to maintain some safety and regularity with the back deck rather than go off of stairs onto a sidewalk or onto the street facing Jackson. They're having their residents there come out and back towards the backyard as it sits on a double lot.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Any questions for Mr. Hanson? It appears that the setbacks are really the same as the house. Is that correct, Liz?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Any motions, questions?
So the encroachment on the setback is the same as it was before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Docket item 9, case 6, I move that we approve the requested variances in accordance with site plan staff report.
I have a motion from Mr. Hayes. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Gorence. Call the roll, please.
Gorence,
Aye.
Mixdorf,
Aye.
Otto,
Aye.
Wright,
Aye.
Hayes.
Aye.
Your request has been granted. Thank you, Mr. Hanson.
Thank
Any
you.
other business? No other business for the board?
No other business today.
We are adjourned.
Thank you all.
Okay, I'm gonna have to remember, call the roll, call the roll, call.
New, it's new.
Oh my gosh. I know, but it's just so funny.